Glad you could join us. A very good morning from wherever you're joining us this morning. My name is Marie Yambo, and indeed, this is Good Morning Kenya. Well, in the news this morning, we have a lot lined up for you, including the fact that the Chief Justice, that is Martha Koome, has said that she's ready to receive the petition by the Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua, against one of the judicial officers. This is just in response to, the incessant attacks, as they call it, by the government against the judiciary. I'll be bringing you more details on that, and also the Form 1s reported yesterday. We'll be bringing you details of how that went with our reporter Joseph Wakungu was on that beat and brought us quite a number of details in as far as that is concerned. Definitely politics will be, dominating part of our bulletin this morning. But thank you so much for making the time to be with us this morning. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm together with my colleagues. Mike, good morning.
Good morning to you, Marie. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Megwe, and today the show is really packed for you. And as we go along, there's a story that happened yesterday, and it's concerning the air restrictions that Tanzania had imposed on Kenya following what Kenya did some time back, suspending flights from Tanzania. So it's a tit-for-tat kind of a thing. But I understand the Prime CS, Musalia Mudavadi, is in talks with his counterpart in Tanzania to resolve the issue in the next 3 days. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Perfect, and karibu sana to the program. Welcome. Now, today, we really want to take a look at what is really happening in the political segment. That is the issue of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Kiharu Member of Parliament, that is Ndindi Nyoro. Now, touting of Ndindi Nyoro as the region supremo is now bringing a lot of, some kind of headache to the Deputy President, and who is now being touted to be the heir apparent to President William Ruto. That's after his term ends. So that is now the real discussion happening, and already there's a split in the mountain. Today, that is going to be part of our discussion, and you know how we're going to do it later on in the program. Please talk to us on our social media handles at Victorlo, at KBC. Karibu sana. See you later on. By the way, the daughter of Ndegwa is here.
Yes, Mtoto Ndegwa is here. A very good morning and welcome to Good Morning Kenya on this 16th day of January. How are you doing? I hope that you are doing okay. And thank you, as always, for choosing Good Morning Kenya to start off your day. Mine is a quote today. It won't happen overnight, but if you quit, then it will never happen. So choose your hard. You either choose to just work on it until it happens, or you decide to quit and it will never happen ever again. And then I also have a request. The femicides have become too much. Please stop killing us. Good morning. Back to you, Marie, for the news.
Indeed, it's time for the news, and let's get on with it, where Chief Justice Martha Koome says she's ready to receive the Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua's petition on corrupt judicial officers, or officer he alluded to on Sunday. Now, the President of the Supreme Court further said she has requested for an appointment with the President to dialogue following the recent attacks from the executives now. And as Ruth Wamboi reports, the Judiciary and the Executive meeting is meant to cool down the fireworks, pitting the two arms of government. Let's get more with Ruth Wamboi.
Monday evening, CJ Martha Koome and Attorney General Justin Muturi led 10 officers from the Judicial Service Commission on the inaugural statement for the year 2024.
To remove a judge from office, the provisions are specified in the Constitution.
It is here that Koome broke her silence on the next course of action on the tug of war between the executive and the judiciary.
We might have received reports because we have the various machineries and agencies that are charged with the responsibility of collecting information. And we would like to engage him so that he can give us that information.
Underscoring the corruption menace in the country, the president of the highest court in the land called for tangible evidence on corrupt judicial officers instead of blanket condemnation.
Iko jaji moja, tuko na evidence ya kutosha, tutapeleka pale. Ndio tuanzie na huyo, alafu wengine wafuate. Najua nikifungua hiyo line, najua Wakenya watafuata.
We are ready to receive it, even if it comes earlier than Thursday, because that's what we do. Our offices are open to receive. Even after hours, you can file online.
She warned that the continuous threats on the judiciary will set a bad precedent of a constitutional crisis.
To allow the judges and judicial officers to engage with the matters objectively and deal with those matters according to the evidence and according to the law. And if somebody is dissatisfied, to follow the appeal mechanism.
Koome has maintained that JSC is committed to maintain the independence of the judiciary. With the judiciary now feeling the pinch of the barrage of attacks, Chief Justice Martha Koome is now calling on politicians to stop discussing live matters pending before courts. Ruth Wamboi reporting from the Supreme Court of Kenya.
Now, from the corridors of justice, the Cabinet has approved the implementation of the Treasury single account, that is TSA, for national and county governments in a move geared towards enhancing public finance management. Now, the new system, once rolled out, will help control expenditure and minimize fragmentation of government accounts in commercial banks.
In a meeting held on Tuesday at State House, Nairobi, chaired by President William Ruto, the Cabinet underscored the importance of a Treasury single account, TSA, in simplifying government banking, creating visibility of government cash resources, and increasing transparency in government cash management. The structure of a TSA will include the National Exchequer account, the TSA sub-account, and the County Revenue Fund. President William Ruto says the move will end the rampant culture of government money being banked in commercial bank accounts where individuals earn interests from it. In yet another attempt to introduce transparency in government procurement, the Cabinet also approved the implementation of the electronic government procurement in both the national and county governments. The EGP platform is expected to save government 90 billion shillings annually in public procurement expenditure, as it will enhance fairness, equity, transparency, competitiveness, and make public procurement cost-effective.
While the opposition leader Raila Odinga claims that the government is doing little to address the current economic hardships facing Kenyans, speaking in Busia County during an ODM recruitment rally, the ODM leader stated that the Azimio coalition has a concrete plan to solve the rising cost of living and other challenges facing Kenyans by exploring possible avenues. The meeting was temporarily disrupted after a group of youths clashed, forcing the police to intervene.
The Orange Democratic Movement ODM party has kick-started a 3-month recruitment drive across the country ahead of their grassroots election this year.
Tunataka kuimarisha chama chetu iwe na nguvu. ODM.
Raila Amolo Odinga led the party in Busia County, where 837 members were registered. Raila using the event to take on the government, claiming it is doing little to save Kenyans from the current economic hardships.
Ushuru kila siku. Ushuru imeongeza mpaka imefika mahali sasa tunasema sisi wana Azimio. Kwanza ODM na Azimio. Tuko na msimamo kamili. Na tuko na mpango kamili ya kurekebisha uchumi wa nchi hii.
The leader further opposed plans to increase the number of counties and instead advocated for fair distribution of resources to address marginalization.
Tumekuja na chopa. Ukiangalia ile mstari ya malori kutoka pale mpaka kule ni makilomita zingapi? Lori inaweza kulala hapa siku 3, sio? Hiyo ni uchumi gani hiyo?
However, the ODM leader called out unknown individuals who he claimed were trying to sabotage the drive.
Sisi wana ODM ODM ni watu wa amani. Hatutaki fujo.
Area Governor Paul Otuoma had a hard time addressing the meeting and was forced to cut short his speech.
Hamtaki niseme kitu. Naona mko na hasira na gavana. Nitaongea na yeye.
Leaders who accompanied the opposition chief want the party to whip those leaders who have decided to go against the grain.
Abdiaziz Hashim reporting there. Now let's go to Matters Education, where the last cohort of learners who sat the 2023 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, that is KCPE, have been officially admitted to Form 1 in various secondary schools across the country. Now, despite the glaring financial difficulties, many parents expressed hope and desire to see their children access quality secondary education. Joseph Okongo now reports.
11 a.m. at Jamhuri High School, hundreds of Form 1 students together with their parents are working round the clock to secure admission. A closer conversation with a number of them reveals they were up and early, ready to fulfill their dream to join high school, with the school set to admit not less than 600 new students.
And the process is going on very well. And we are happy that our parents are happy. And we want to have a seamless and flawless process where the parents will be happy and the process can continue and complete without hitch.
Hapa nimeona kidogo iko juu, inakuwa very expensive, lakini tunajaribu kwa sababu hakuna njia nyingine.
A visit at St. George's Girls High School in Nairobi further revealed that the ongoing Form 1 admission process has been smooth without any hitches reported so far.
The team on the ground is well prepared. We have assigned duties and we have several stations, and it's not hectic. For us, it's a smooth flow.
Despite harsh economic times in the country, parents who we spoke to expressed their satisfaction with the seamless admission process.
Zingatia kwa sababu tukiangalia kwa ile form wameandika pesa ambazo wao wanacharge na serikali imelipa ngapi. So they are so transparent.
At Ontieno Oyo High School in Kisumu County, admission process is set to run throughout the week until all 364 students are admitted.
They have challenges with payment of school fees. Some of them do. As you know, the economy probably is not doing very well anyway, but they have challenges, but we have not turned anybody back.
It was the same script at Kapsabet Boys in Nandi County. The school plans to admit 600 Form 1 students in a week-long exercise.
Kapsabet Boys High School being the most sought-after school in the country, most parents really put a lot of pressure, and that has actually pushed us to take extra students this year so that they can be able to clear the last lot of 844.
Meanwhile, a 15-year-old boy's dream to join Lenana High School hangs in the balance in Narok County due to lack of fee. Simon Gitao, who scored 396 marks in last year's KCPE, together with his mother Elizabeth Njoki, are calling on well-wishers to come to his aid and rescue him from dropping out of school.
I was supposed to report today at Lenana High School, but lack of school fees has made me to stay here.
Nilijaribu kuapply Equity lakini haikufanikiwa. Na leo ndio alikuwa supposed ku report shule na haijawezekana. Sina uwezo wa kimapato.
With the last cohort of 844 joining Form 1 today, many parents expressed hope and desire to see their children joining Form 1 and continue with their studies. Reporting from St. George's High School, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
Thank you, Joseph. Now, controversy, anger, and questions continue to emerge following the death of an intern medic at the Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital. In the latest reaction to the incident, medics are threatening to down their tools, demanding answers following the death of their colleague whose body was found in a trench at the facility.
The medics held peaceful demonstrations around the hospital, singing songs and carrying placards to protest the death of Dr. Laban Langat, an intern doctor at Rift Valley Provincial General Hospital in Nakuru. The media could also light candles in his honor.
We are calling for justice for Dr. Laban Langat. We are calling for justice for his family. And we are calling for justice for the entire community, healthcare community of Nakuru County.
Through their representatives, the medical staff want Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika and the Nakuru County Security Committee to address alleged security lapses at the facility for the safety of medical staff and patients.
We want the security firm that protects PGH to be fired.
Kama hakutakuwa na watu ambao watakuwa wameshikwa kwa sababu ya hii jambo, hatutakuwa na any other option, bali tutasimamisha kazi yetu, kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa tunakaa tunahudumia watu, tunahudumia wagonjwa, na ilhali sisi wenyewe security yetu iko compromised.
This time round tumesema no to this. Hatutanyamaza tena, because now this is now, how many are we going to wait wakufe ndio to act? Tutangoja wangapi wakufe? Hii ni hospitali kubwa sana, haifai kuongea story na security. Sasa hii security ingekuwa hata from the gate kuingia mpaka hapa ndio kuja kudambiwa, anyway it is a shame.
They had to know exactly what happened that he passed on. But so far we have recorded statements of about 10 witnesses who were with him, and some of them who are not with him but were calling him, maybe communicating with him. And we are yet to establish what caused his death.
26-year-old Dr. Laban Langat's body was discovered in a trench outside Margaret Kenyatta mother and baby wing compound last Sunday.
To matters security now, where Airbnb owners will now be required to record and temporarily withhold identification documents of their clients. This comes as the government moves to stem incidences of insecurity following a spate of killings in such establishments. Now, in the new directives by the Private Security Regulatory Authority, private security firms have been ordered to adhere to the law, which among others requires identification documents to be surrendered at the point of entry into accommodations, lodgings and hospitality establishments and returned on exit. This comes as the Kisumu County government has also issued a 21-day notice for all Airbnb establishments in the county to register with them to continue operations.
The Private Security Regulatory Authority, domiciled under the Ministry of Interior, has issued new guidelines to address emerging trends of insecurity. In a statement by Fazul Mohammed, the Director General, the authority says its decision is in response to reported criminal activity, including murder in residential apartments, particularly those affiliated with online accommodation, lodging and hospitality such as Airbnbs. Owners of establishments will be required to store the documents safely and not use them for any other purposes. Additionally, Fazul wants business owners immediately comply with Section 48 of the Private Security Regulatory Authority Act, which, among others, requires the maintenance of security occurrence book to record daily significant incidences.
If you are operating NB, first you have to be licensed, pay tax, register, put security features, and let us know how you are conducting business in those rooms of yours.
The directive comes amid the discovery of the body of a middle-aged woman at an Airbnb apartment in Roysambu. A fortnight ago, the body of a woman was also found in an apartment in South B. She reportedly died after being stabbed to death. Parsa Frederick for Channel 1 News.
To some flood updates, where traffic along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway in Rironi was brought to a standstill following heavy rains that rendered the road impassable. Additionally, motorists using the underpass along the James Gishuru Road were forced to drive on the flooded roads amid concerns on their safety. Let's get more details.
This was the situation as heavy rains continue to pound parts of the country. Along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway in Rironi, this was the situation. Motorists were forced to drive through the flooded roads.
Nimetuletea shida sana juu saa hii nilikuwa naenda job na huku saidi ya Wagige, lakini siwezi fuka hapa juu maji imekuwa mingi, ninaogopa gari isiharibike.
Hizi computerized, hiyo computer ikiguza maji, gari na kuzimia hapa katikati.
Mwenye hii gari, tunaona mahali amesimama, juu hakuna mahali anaenda.
Along the James Gishuru underpass, the situation was the same. Pedestrians were forced to cross the highway to get to either side of the road.
Tuko na Nyolo Primary School na Liloni Primary. Hao watoto wote wenye wanatoka pande ya Gatimu hawana mahali ya kupita. Wanavukia tu pale kwa barabara. Ukiangalia kaa nyuma yangu kwenye bodaboda zinapita, ndipo watu wanapita na gari zinakuja tu bado na speed.
Kuna accident mbili jana. Kuna mama aligongwa juzi, jana kuna mzee.
This comes as a section of road users accused the contractor for delays in the completion of the construction works.
Tulijengewa barabara na haikumalizika. Sasa tukaachiwa hakuna mahali ya kupeleka maji, mahali maji ilikuwa inaenda imefungwa yote.
And dozens of motorists were left stranded after a section of Magadi Road in Kajiado County was cut off by floods. Most of those stranded were parents who were taking their children to Form 1 for admission. This comes as the weatherman says heavy rains will continue for the next 24 hours in Nairobi, Highlands East, west of the Rift Valley, and southern eastern lowlands.
Let's look at business now, where African countries should collaborate to ensure effective implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Speakers at the conference of the implementation strategies says the deal holds the promise for the continent to overcome the colonial legacy of small and fragmented markets and replace them with a single market of over 1.4 billion people.
Established in 2018 as negotiated by member states of the African Union, the African Continental Free Trade Area is an agreement seeking to create conditions for the free flow of trade without barriers.
Close to 9% of Africa's growth drives from consumption, domestic consumption. And the African population is a major consumer. So all we need to do is organize ourselves in manufacturing, in trade, in transport and communications, and other areas to ensure that we create an integrated market. And that market is going to grow. And when it is going to grow, it's going to be resilient to the disruptions going on around the world.
But at the end of the day, the success of the AfCFTA for the African people will only happen if the African taxpayers are also ready to finance the implementation areas where they are going to reap the most gains.
So far, 31 countries have ratified the African Continental Free Trade Area and are now calling on the remaining to do so to liberalize Africa's trade.
Most of countries had committed already to liberalize within 5 years, others within 10 years, and others within 13 years. So if you count down, we have not reached the point where countries have fully liberalized trade. 47 have already ratified, though 54 have signed, but 47 have completed the legal process. Now, out of those 47, 31 are already trading.
The Commission says creating a common currency for Africa would help the continent save about $5 billion in card in forex exchange.
Perhaps we'll be able to transact any African local currency in a convertible way from Kenyan shilling directly to Ghana cedi. That's number one. But number two, perhaps we reduce the time it takes to make a transaction from Kenya to Ghana. By reducing it to less than an hour, it will be instant transaction. And that settlement system has been established. Many countries have already switched to it. We have about 9 African countries that are implementing it, and the number is increasing.
The 3-day conference seeks to identify new opportunities and priority areas for effective implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Trevor Ngendo for KBC Channel 1.
Thank you, Trevor Ngendo, for that report. Now, a number of hotels in Kilifi County are reporting increased bookings and new investments, which they attribute to the scrapping of visa requirement for foreigners. Ndota Mukame with the details.
According to the annual tourism sector performance report, in 2022, international arrivals stood at 2.3 million visitors, with local tourists standing at 913,000. The numbers are expected to considerably increase this year to pre-COVID levels due to the government's decision to scrap visa requirement for visitors.
Tourism, I think, are going well for all hotel of Watamu area, Jacaranda area. Also the government really, they are moving another type of visa, ETA, what understood. Probably they reduce the price, they are more easy to obtain the visa.
Some investors are rushing to complete extensive expansion, renovations, and modernizing the hotels to attract more high-end clientele as tourism activities pick up.
So we're looking forward really to revive Malindi as a town, to bring life into Malindi with fitness, health, luxury accommodations and food, drive employment, drive investment and really rebuild Malindi as a prime destination on the coast of Kenya.
The resort town of Watamu expects to receive over 35,000 tourists this year.
The tourism in this moment is very good. Watamu is growing very fast. We can easily think that we will reach more than 35,000 occupancy for this year in guests.
Last year, several coast hotels won big during the 30th World Travel Awards Africa and Indian Ocean Gala ceremony held at the Atlantis The Royal in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, indicating the improved attractiveness of Kenya as a destination. Nduta Mukami for KBC Channel 1.
We move on, where tea factories in Murang'a County have signed a management agreement with the Kenya Tea Development Agency in a deal that drastically reduces their management fees. Let's get more details.
Murang'a Tea Factories Board will now have full authority to manage a budget for the factory's finances. This is after the factories and the Kenya Tea Development Agency agreed on management modalities that saw the tea agency relinquish some of its management roles and revise its management fees.
MS, the law to look for the market and the sale. Your concern should just be, is it fetching the right price? Are you getting the right price for your produce? Instead of dictating who then you're going to sell that tea with, yet you gave me the mandate.
KTDA will now charge Murang'a factories a management fee of 1.5% per kilo from 2.5%, reducing their earnings from the factories from an average of 14 billion shillings to 8 billion shillings annually.
You are saying the sales and marketing is the responsibility of who? The agent. The agent? Yes. So when you tell me that he is the agent, and then you have taken away the same sales and marketing, you appointed somebody else, what work have you left with? Yeah, for you now go back again to the managing agent and say, why is our teas not sold?
KTDA is urging farmers in Murang'a to frequently seek for factory audits to ensure transparency in tea factories.
We need people who shall listen to us, not people appointed by somebody else. And for example, the people who transport our teas are proposing a deletion, or else that function to go back to the board. Yes. And we delete them.
The agency is asking the factories to invest in technology to enhance accountability.
We look at sports now, where the inaugural Body Fitness Academy seminar in Kenya began yesterday with personal trainers and fitness enthusiasts getting educated on matters pertaining sports nutrition. Now, the week-long seminar had Dr. Janet Chumba, a physical education and sports lecturer at the University of Nairobi, enlighten the trainers on the need for sports nutrition and how to communicate to their clients on how the right nutrition can be integrated with sports.
In a bid to understand the tips for healthy eating habits among sports and fitness enthusiasts, a channel that is meant to help the Lord understand the game plan for sports nutrition and hydration has been created in classes held in Nairobi.
Nutrition and sports will always go hand in hand. You must have a good nutrition for you to get good results in your fitness training. For you to get positive feedback or positive results in your fitness, you must have gotten a good nutrition.
This is achieved by having a deeper understanding of the science of hydration for the body and fueling it before, during, and after exercise. With proper execution of the right sports nutrition, there will be promotion of better training techniques, exercise, and good performance among the fitness enthusiasts.
All trainers that work with clients should be certified, should know exactly what they're doing, because it's about the goals of the clients and, more importantly, it's about their health.
The seminar also gave an insight into acquisition of the right and proper supplements, or alternatively having an informed diet that can solely be dependent upon.
Look for information about nutrition. There are things trainers tell clients not to do or to do, which are not true. So if you consult with the expert, I think we'll get the right kind of information.
What's the word out there to personal trainers and other trainers? This seminar will be educating on matters pertaining sports anatomy, exercise analysis, and training science, with the trainers earning certification after the seminar culminates on Saturday.
Well, and from that report, I do want to give you just the update of the Africa Cup of Nations 2024. And that is yesterday, the Group C's pitting Senegal versus Gambia. Definitely Senegal took the day 3-0, that is 0 to Gambia. Cameroon drew 1-1 with Guinea, and Algeria also drew 1-1 with Angola. Now, today's fixtures, we have Group D pitting Burkina Faso, this is at 5 p.m. versus Mauritania. In Group E, we'll have Tunisia at 8 p.m. versus Namibia, and Mali will take on South Africa at 11 p.m. Remember, the Africa Cup of Nations 2024 is being beamed live here on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Thank you so much for making the time for us this morning. My name is Marie Yambo. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Right now, I want to give room to my colleagues, Victor, Mike, and Vivian, to continue with the Good Morning Kenya program. Until next time, goodbye for now.
KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to distribute news and information.
Welcome to Happening in the World of Entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation. Upper KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interests of the Kenyan public on various subjects of current interest.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
challenges, and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
And you have a say.
Our magazine programs imbue communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world. For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs. Music can be magical. It is the soul of life and gives immense peace to us. Music has a powerful therapeutic effect on the human psyche. Whether it's secular or gospel music, there really is a song for every emotion.
God bless you.
These are the moments we live for every Friday as we catch up with the world of football.
Manchester City go in front.
with your favorite stars like no other that keeps you on the edge of your seat as you learn a few tricks that keeps you ahead of the game before we spice it all with unforgettable moments on Dunda Dunda. Then on Saturday, you are in for another treat as we rock your weekend with other sports bringing you insights on what's happening behind the scenes as we share the stories.
Charging to the line! Is it going to be a world record? Yes it is! She smashed it!
Whatever angle you look at, we've got you covered. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. It's a cocktail of emotions. The puns that cracks up the family. Greed that yields power and hunger for success. Friends turn to foes. Survival for the fittest is the drive.
Who are we blackmailing?
But none beats the feud in a family where one disappears, another fights for the crown.
It was not supposed to go this far.
It's the desire to succeed that keeps us going, the deception that keeps us digging, and a laughter pill that keeps us living. KBC brings you the very best of children's programs. From the preschoolers to the teens, featuring the best of untapped talent. Showcasing arts and crafts, music and poetry. We bring the latest animations and teach the children how to do it.
Can you read the word with happy hippo?
Join us every Saturday from 8 a.m. and weekdays in the late afternoons as we bring the children quintessential children programming only on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to distribute news and information.
Welcome to Happening in the World of Entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation up at KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interests of the Kenyan public on various subjects of current interest.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
challenges, and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
And you have a say.
Our magazine programs imbue communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world. For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs.
All right, good morning. Welcome back. It's now 9 minutes, let me just say 10 minutes past 7 a.m. Welcome to the program. Before you leave the house, I know it's going to be a busy week for most Kenyans, actually almost every parent right now. It's back to school week, and so I would just want to take a look at what's happening on in the headlines as well as the traffic situation across our major cities. Let me start with the traffic situation in Nairobi before I come to the local dailies. Let me start with the capital city. Yesterday was a mess, and that was the entire day. The situation is not so good as well as today. So the major roads in the capital city, let me just zoom that in a bit and see. There you have it. So a complete layout looks like this one. If you do a zoom out, this is the city center, probably just giving you a rough idea what it looks like. Parklands Road, headed towards City Park, is not so good. That's Limuru Road. The construction work that is happening here is what is necessitating this traffic snarl up here. But I'm so sure once this construction is done, then I think Kenyans using Limuru Road will be a happy lot. Now that extends to around City Park East there, and thereafter it's moving as you head towards Gigiri, Karura, etc., etc. But after that, the entire stretch is but fine. But what about headed to the Theka Highway? Njoki taught me it's not Thika, it's called Theka. Yeah, Theka. Mike, did I get it right? Mike Migwi. It's Theka, right? Good. So this is how Thika Road looks like. It starts all the way past Pangani interchange there, and it stretches all the way to Utali Hotel, past Utali Hotel there. This one is affecting both the main highway and the service lane. And you see the problem is that a majority of Kenyans who are using this service lane past the Madari Mental Hospital will always come to affect those people who are taking that, the U-turn or the roundabout there around Arab Mudaiga, but that also affects Kiambu Road. So that's how Kiambu Road looks like. It's also headed towards the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. Perhaps something that will always be done to avoid this traffic snarl up here along Thika Road and the Pangani interchange is to control any motorist from using their service lane. That is the only way. The service lane, because the moment you use the service lane, then motorists coming all the way from Kiambu Road will not get that access to the main highway. That is what we have it. And then when you use the expressway, the service lane, they are always come to around Mudaiga Square there and the Pangani interchange around this place as you head towards Gikomba and Karioko. There is where we have that snarl up. Perhaps the best thing that police officers should do is to make sure that everybody is redirected to the main highway. It's as simple as such. It's as simple as such. Everybody to use the main highway and block here for only the motorist using the service lane. Okay, that is as far as Thika Road is concerned. What about Juja Road? Juja Road, okay, so far so good. Not that bad. Around Northview, that is the roundabout there. That's where the problem is, but the entire stretch of Juja Road is okay. Juja Road, as you come towards Eastleigh area there, looking pretty fine. How about this side is, not so good. This is area of Makadara. This is Jogo Road. Jogo Road also bumper to bumper as you come to around Makadara, but after that it's flowing towards City Stadium and to Modura Market. Today it looks good. There's nothing much to report about. What about Mombasa Road? Mombasa Road, the only problem is that around the stage here, as you come towards the Nyayo National Stadium, but the entire stretch looks pretty good. That's there. There's a problem here around Timol as you head towards Raila Odinga way there. That is Mbagadi Way, for those who do not know. There's a stretch as you head towards Riara University uphill. That's where the problem is. So if you can use an alternative route, the better for you. Langata Road, so far, so good. That is Nairobi. What about headed to Mombasa? Mombasa, good morning. Yes, still loading. Very good. Let me have that. As you're taking a look at that, what about taking a look at what's happening in Kisumu? Kisumu, there we have it. There's nothing to report about in Kisumu all the way from, we got Gardens coming to hotel, down to Kondela roundabout and to the CBD, looking pretty fine. Outside, headed towards Aero Market, also green, which means you're ready to go. Outside, outbound towards National Airport, International. I beg your pardon, did I say national? International. Marie Yambo. International Airport. Yeah. Looking okay. Kisumu, good morning. Lastly, let's take a look at what we have in... yes, let's come back to Mombasa. Mombasa is behaving today. Yeah, thank you. So the Likoni, today starting with the Likoni ferry channel, but both sides coming from the other side of the Likoni is not okay, and the Likoni ferry crossing channel there, not so okay. You have to be a bit patient, but after that, the entire stretch is now okay. What about Kongowea Market? Around this place, today it looks good, apart from the lights here. This is where we have. This is where it is. So the entire stretch of Malindi Road, Nyali Road rather, is looking fine. So Watu Mombasa, let's go about our business. All right, so let's come home and take a look at what's happening on the front page of our local dailies. Let me start with the People Daily. On the front page of the People Daily, this is what we have. Ruto has locked his doors for us, says CJ Koome. Ruto has locked his doors for us. That is what's on the front page of the People Daily. Of course, the CJ members of the JSC, that is the Judicial Service Commission, yesterday had a press conference, and they said that they accused top judiciary organ wants that declaration by President Ruto that he would no longer obey orders by judges was untenable, amount to contempt of court and if allowed unabated, can lead to civil strife and anarchy. That is what the CJ, Martha Koome, said yesterday in a press conference. The front page says that Ruto has locked his doors for us. Now, CJ Koome says that story is fleshed out for you on page 4. Let's take a look at what's page 4 there is. There you have it. The press conference says the Judiciary alludes to insincerity by executive in spot. That is what it is. Chief Justice defends her tough, accusing President and state officials of intimidation despite pleas for a sit down. Has that happened? Not so sure. Not really ready. Not so sure about that. Okay. Reading a statement on behalf of JSC, Lady Justice Martha Koome accused the executive of intimidating judges on the cases pending at various courts in the country. Koome defended the judicial systems and channels of presenting a petition against any judge or judicial officer at the JSC, based at CBK Pension Tower. So, in addition, the CJ also disclosed that although JSC has written to President William Ruto for a formal meeting to iron out the fallout between the executive and the judiciary, no response has been given to date. That is as at yesterday. So there we have it. So yesterday, JSC, led by its chairperson, Martha Koome, told executive to stop intimidation, harassment and public vilification of judicial officers, reminding them that there are proper channels to follow in presenting a petition against any member of the bench. Perhaps later on, my director will play that clip where the CJ had a press briefing yesterday. Director, please put it ready. And she said that the courts will remain unbiased, and reminding the executive that even judges are human beings too, so they need to be human as well. All right, so Gachagua tells MPs to stop 2032 politics on succession. This is what's happening in the mountain. The focus now shifts to the mountain between the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday asked Kenya Kwanza leaders to stop 2032 succession politics and focus on assisting President William Ruto deliver development to the people. The DP also said that judges and judicial officers must be accountable for their decisions and judicial conduct. Of course, Gachagua was speaking in Chepalungu constituency, Bomet County, during the burial of Mzee Philip Tunoi Langat, father of Bomet Senator Hilary Sigei. So that is what's happening at this particular point. Oh yes, yeah, according to the DP. So let's just focus on that and perhaps see what's here. Raila rejects plans to increase counties. That is according to ODM leader Raila Odinga. Opposition leader says that focus should be on fair distribution of resources to curb marginalization and promote equitable development in regions. This is what you have. Opposition leader Raila Odinga has opposed plans to increase the number of counties and is now calling for a fair distribution of resources to address marginalization. Raila, who spoke during an Orange Democratic Movement recruitment drive in Malaba town, that's during the recruitment drive, said that the initial formation of 47 counties in Kenya, as decided during the constitutional formation, talks was aimed at promoting equitable development. So he has really opposed the increase of more counties in the country. That is as far as that is concerned, and we have it there. All right, on the front page, let me just go back to first page. There you go. All right, so that's according to Raila Odinga. Okay, this is also acting on me again. Very good. So there we have it. The moment Raila spoke during the press conference, word has it that there was a bit of some not so good moments there, where a lot of people, there was some fracas at that particular point. But Was it? We're going to see. Okay, let's head over to the front page of the Daily Nation now. On the front page of the Daily Nation, murder, Mwangaza husband and sister quizzed. Mwangaza, that's murder, Mwangaza husband and sister quizzed. That is Meru Governor Kabera Mwangaza's husband and sister are the latest members of her family to be targeted for questioning of a brutal killing of blogger Daniel Muthiani. All right, before I come back to the front page of the Daily Nation, perhaps, Director, now we can come back to the front page of the People Daily, the story about the Deputy President saying that we should avoid politics as at now. Director, press play.
President Monday evening, CJ Martha Koome and Attorney General Justin Muturi led 10 officers from the Judicial Service Commission on the inaugural statement for the year 2024.
To remove a judge from office, the provisions are specified in the Constitution.
It is here that Koome broke her silence on the next course of action on the tug of war between the executive and the judiciary.
We might have received reports because we have the various machineries and agencies that are charged with the responsibility of correcting information. And we would like to engage him so that he can give us that information.
Underscoring the corruption menace in the country, the president of the highest court in the land called for tangible evidence on corrupt judicial officers instead of blanket condemnation.
Iko jaji moja, tuko na evidence ya kutosha, tutapeleka pale. Ndio tuanzie na huyo, alafu wengine wafuate. Najua nikifungua hiyo line, najua Wakenya watafuata.
We are ready to receive it, even if it comes earlier than Thursday, because that's what we do. Our offices are open to receive. Even after hours, you can file online.
She warned that the continuous threats on the judiciary will set a bad precedent of a constitutional crisis.
To allow the judges and judicial officers to engage with the matters objectively and deal with those matters according to the evidence and according to the law. And if somebody is dissatisfied, to follow the appeal mechanism.
Koome has maintained that JSC is committed to maintain the independence of the judiciary. With the judiciary now feeling the pinch of the barrage of attacks, Chief Justice Martha Koome is now calling on politicians to stop discussing live matters pending before courts. Ruth Wamboi reporting from the Supreme Court of Kenya.
That is what is here, and just in support of what the Chief Justice said yesterday, that judiciary alludes to insincerity by executive in SPAT. That is what is captured here on page 4 of the People Daily. Of course, you can take a look at that story, fleshed out there for you in details on the front page of the People Daily or any other newspaper. This is been captured in almost all the newspapers, local dailies today. And of course, as we're speaking, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua tells MPs to stop 2032 politics on succession. This is what is here. Director, if you have that already, we can play that where the DP has already. All right, we'll get it later on for you. But that is what the Deputy President said, that he is more focused on helping the President to achieve his manifesto until the end of his term. So any other politics is not going to derail him from making his contribution to the Kenya Kwanza government. All right, very fast. Now let's cross over to what we have. Again, the story is also captured on the first page of the Star newspaper, the People Daily rather. The Mwangaza's husband quiz over blogger's brutal murder. That is Meru Governor's brother, County Director of Protocol, and 4 others in custody. The story is has been attracting a lot of public attention for a couple of weeks now, and we are still waiting to see how it will end. fleshed out there for you on page 8. All right, let's cross over now to the front page of the Daily Nation. This is what's on the splash of the Daily Nation. Murder, Mwangaza husband and sister quizzed. The mystery death, governor's brother is also being held by detectives alongside 8 other suspects still being held for questioning. The husband to the governor, here he is, standing tall. Yeah, they have him. So Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's husband and sister are the latest members of her family to be arraigned and to be charged for questioning over the brutal killing of blogger Daniel Muthiani, aka Sniper. This is what you have here. The story is on the inner pages of the Standard of the Daily Nation on page 7. You can take a look at that story in details. Again, on the front page is back to school, and we can see many students reported to school yesterday, and perhaps this is just but a representation of what really happened yesterday and is going to continue for the better part of this week. Stretched facilities as Form 1's report. Record admission numbers were reported across the country yesterday when the last K-44 class turned up for admission to secondary schools, even as parents declared the high prices of items that their children require. This according to Spot Check, which was conducted by reporters across the country. And of course, even our reporter, Joseph Wahungu, has that story. Director, please just keep it ready for me there. Admission yesterday at various schools by Joseph Wahungu. If you have it, please, you can play it for us. Yes. But that is what is happening here. Let's continue on the inner pages. Student held for murder had deferred his studies, according to a student here. Victim's mother says that she is poor and has pegged hopes of a better life on her daughter. Let's continue the story. This is, we go. The case of Martha Koome and the executive is also here on the inner pages of the Daily Nation. Koome calls for talks with Ruto over his attacks on the courts. This is what you have here. According to the Daily Nation, the Chief Justice said that she has already done a formal letter to the President, but to this date, as at yesterday, the Judiciary has not yet received that response. President has accused unnamed persons of using corrupt judges to block projects initiated by his administration. So that's what you have here. Koome termed as non-negotiable the requirement that judicial officers uphold the highest standards of integrity while discharging their mandate. And according to Koome, she said that the judiciary is ready to receive any petition as far as any applicant or any complainant has any complaint, and follow all the appeal procedure to lodge his case. And so, speaking yesterday, Chief Justice Martha Koome, who is also the chairperson of the JSC, said that the commission wants a meeting with the President Ruto to discuss the issues he has been raising concerning alleged corruption in the judiciary. So she also added that, yes, courts are open, but even after 5 p.m., applications can still be done online. So anybody can do an online application, and the cases will be heard on merit and based on the law provided under the Constitution. That's where we have it. All right, Kalonzo pulls now plots how to gain political clout. There we have it. Wiper Party holds its first National Executive Committee meeting this year today to chart the way forward. An interesting development. There we have it. According to the Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper Party is going to have the NEC meeting today to chart way forward in as far as this is concerned. Of course, in the couple of weeks, a week or so, we've had a lot of discussion and talks about polls, whether Kalonzo Musyoka should now focus his succession politics towards 2027, and said that he is now more ready to succeed President William Ruto, and pleaded with ODM leader Raila Odinga, who is also his co-principal in the Azimio coalition, to support him this time around. So he said that Wiper Democratic Movement will hold its first National Executive Committee meeting this year today, and a key agenda will be discussions to how to extend party leader Kalonzo Musyoka's political influence beyond Ukambani ahead of the 2027 general election. All right, this is good. So we'll see how the resolution and the ratification, whatever they'll come up with after that NEC meeting. Mr. Musyoka maintained that no one will deter his 2027 presidential bid. He said that Wiper Party is planning to make significant inroads in Nairobi County. Makueni Senator Daniel Manzo stated that Wiper also wants to become the dominant party in the coast counties. That is Kwale, Kilifi, Taita Taveta, Mombasa, etc., etc. There we have it. Okay, so let's have that story. Form 1's reporting back to school. Director, do you have it ready now? All right, we'll come back to that story later on. All right, so we'll wait to get to understand what is really going to come out of that NEC meeting in as far as this is concerned. Succession talks. Woo. Succession talks. Talk ill time. Gachagua chides critics. That is what we have. Rift Valley leaders assure DP of their support during the burial of Bomet Senator's father, that is Hilary Sigei. Okay, DP says that his main focus is to help the president achieve the goals he has set. And yeah, we've heard that story about the Kiharu Member of Parliament, Ndidi Nyoro, and now the Deputy President Rigathi, yesterday dismissed as premature succession politics in Kenya and in Kenya Kwanza. That has led to some politicians from his central Kenya backyard to demand that he be dropped in the 2027 polls. And now Mr. Gachagua reiterated his commitment to serve as the principal assistant to President William Ruto, emphasizing that he will not engage in unnecessary succession politics. He said that his main focus and his main agenda is to assist President William Ruto to deliver on his manifesto. Last week, some Kenya Kwanza MPs proposed Kiharu, Member of Parliament, and Ndindi Nyoro, as the possible replacement of Mr. Gachagua in the 2027 general election, sparking a lot of conflict within the ruling UDA party. But the DP yesterday told the critics that he's focused on his mandate as the deputy president and does not mix issues. Remember, we have different outfits there. We have got Sabina Chege, we have got Ayala, Member of Parliament, Kanini Kega, all members of the Jubilee Party. Uhuru Kenyatta is also there, still fighting for the heart of the Jubilee Party. Cases here and there. Last week, the president met MCAs from Nakuru and the Rift Valley region at Nakuru State Lodge for a consultative meeting. And now this is coming out at this particular time. So it's interesting how this political field will tilt towards which direction. It's amazing how politics in Kenya is being played. So there we have it. He said that he's not ready for that. Mwangaza's husband and sister quizzed over blogger's murder. That's on the inner pages of the Daily Nation here. 3 members of Meru governor's family have now recorded statements, even as she cited political interference. Yeah, so let's wait and just hope that things will be the way they are. And there we have it. According to political activist who is also a blogger, went missing on December 2nd before his body was found in Tharaka Nithi on December 16th. That is what we have. All right. Okay. So yeah, let's see on that story where we have that the Meru governor, Kawira Mwangaza's spouse, that is Murega Baisho, and her sister Miriam Gwantai have recorded police statements in connection with the murder of blogger and political activist Daniel Muthiani, also known as Sniper. The two were summoned by detectives to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in Meru and spent the entire afternoon recording statements about what they knew about the murder. So there we have it. So sources indicate that Mr. Mwangaza accompanied her family members to the DCI county headquarters at around 2 p.m. after she presided over a Sunday service at her Baite Family Fellowship Church that is in Meru County. So, yeah, the story still continues, and let's wait and see how the whole thing will pan out. President, again, still Treasury one step closer to single account as Cabinet approves plan. Approval is the culmination of a decade-long effort to consolidate government funds under one account. This is what you have. The National Treasury has inched closer to accessing the billions of shillings held by government ministries and agencies in commercial bank account after the Cabinet approved implementation of the Treasury's single account, or TSA, that has been years in making. The approval is the culmination of a decade-long effort to consolidate government funds under one account for easier control of outflows and access to surplus funds in the hands of government agencies and parastatals. So it also points to pain for commercial banks, which are now facing up to the prospect of ceding billions of shillings worth of sticky deposits to the exchequer, tightening their liquidity position and forcing them now to seek long-term deposits elsewhere, likely at a higher cost. So by the end of June 2023, data from the Central Bank of Kenya showed that deposits by the central government and other public sector entities in commercial banks stood at 509.8 billion shillings. 509 billion shillings, accounting for 10% of the banking sector's total deposits of 4.92 trillion shillings at that time. So questions have also been raised over the interest earned by the deposits in banks and whether the amounts all end up with the exchequer. Some of the agencies and parastatals are also major buyers of government securities, resulting in a situation where the government ends up borrowing its own funds at a premium rate. Yeah. So there we have it. All right. So there we have it. Before we take a quick break, let's take a look at what we have on the front page of the Standard newspaper. CJ to Ruto, do not lead us to anarchy. That's the front page of the Standard newspaper. Chief Justice Martha Koome has warned the president and his allies that undermining the judiciary is an assault to the democracy and will only take the country down the path of chaos and lawlessness. The press conference was there yesterday. You can take a look at that story on the inner pages of the Standard. Gachagwa's Mount Kenya wars deepen. That is again on the 8th page. Of course, we've also tackled that one on other people, the People Daily and Daily Nation. DPP lawyers clash in Mandago trial. Again, the front page here is back to school. Yes, you'll have to get there. Either way, whichever way, you'll have to get. Do the manenos. It's back to school. Of course, we wish all the Form 1s all the very best. 4 years, si mingi sana. All right. So there we go. A journey over 1,000 miles, of course, began for a couple of them. The case between the judiciary and the executive also continues there. And yes, that will continue on the inner pages. Thank you very much. JSC, together with the Chief Justice and other JSC members, had a press conference yesterday. CJ warns of anarchy over Ruto's attacks on judiciary. It has been a debate that we've been talking about, and it has been on the political platforms for quite a number of days now. Koome said that JSC yet to receive any corruption complaints from president, despite branding judiciary as a club of corrupt judges. JSC now pledges to continue fulfilling its constitutional responsibilities and ensuring the public remains informed about outcomes of cases presented before it. And finally, no illegal fees added as students join Form 1. Was it? Is it? Will it not? All right. Needy students flock to schools as principals opt to find solution. This is what it is. Again, we wish all the students joining Form 1 all the very best. Okay. So Raila says that attacks on courts hurting Kenya's economy, politics. See, there you all have it. You can take a look at your local daily and read more details. There we go. So, Gachagua, Nyoro supremacy battle threatens to split Mount Kenya leaders. Again, that's a very interesting story. Is it going to be? And remember, all the three gentlemen in one picture. Ndini Nyoro, President William Ruto, and Rigathi Gachagua in one picture. A very powerful one, for that matter. Gachagua, Nyoro supremacy battle threatens to split Mount Kenya leaders. Kuraria said that the region lacked a kingpin who could lead and unite all the leaders. And Kahiga, who is the Nyeri governor, says that President may have nothing to do with the Nyoro's ambition, saying that his youthfulness could be driving him. Okay, members, Mount Kenya is split already. An interesting development. All right, let's take a break and we come back. GMK still continues, but please stay with us because you know how we do it. This is Good Morning Kenya. Have a good morning. Let's go.
We visit retired Colonel Geoffrey Muturi Kingangi at his home in Kilimani, Nairobi. Retired Colonel was born in Gashoka, Mbere South sub-county of Embu County, the seventh child of a family of 13 siblings.
I come from Embu, Mbere South sub-county, I'm a constituency in Gashoka. I went to school in Genge Primary School. It's a rural school. So in primary school, there was a kid from our family in every class. So once you go to Form 1, the following year there's somebody going to Form 1. I went to secondary school in Chicago.
Despite school fees challenges in his early education life, Colonel Kingangi was determined and studied to become a civil engineer.
Thereafter I went to Kenya Polytechnic to do a diploma in building and civil engineering. After that, I worked with the Ministry of Works in the architectural department. That is the time now I traveled Kenya, supervised project for the police and the office of the president. We flew all over the place.
The military then came calling and was one of the few chosen to join the Kenya Army as a cadet.
The military were looking for engineers and technically qualified people to start the now corps of engineers. It was just beginning. So they had architects, all manner of people. So I was recruited from the office. So I joined the military as a building and civil engineer. Thereafter, upon graduation, I joined the Royal School of Military Engineers in London to study combat engineering. I came back and I was deployed as a combat engineer in the Corps of Engineers, specifically 10 Engineers Battalion in Nanyuki. I was an instructor in building trades.
He would serve in numerous foreign missions in the country and beyond.
I was again sent to India to the School of Military Intelligence to study combat engineering, combat intelligence. On return, I now had two specialties. I was a combat engineer and I was a combat intelligence officer. I also served in the United Nations missions in Sierra Leone for a year. I served in United Nations mission in DRC Congo for a year, and I also participated in several special assignments.
He would later rise up the ranks to become the head of military intelligence in the army.
I got my promotions and I ended up in the headquarters of Kenya Army as a SO1 intelligence, that is Staff Officer 1 intelligence, meaning I was in charge of intelligence in the whole of Kenya Army. It's interesting to note that while I was in charge of intelligence, that is when the 2007 and 2008 post-election violence happened. So I was privy, I participated, I was in the background, and it was very monumental and important time for anyone who is in the service to be actively serving in that time. You learn so much.
His diligent work saw him promoted to the Secretary of the National Security Committee, where he would later end up at State House.
Thereafter again, I was assigned and attached to Office of the President and Ambassador Malaura as Head of Civil Service to be the Military Secretary to the National Security Advisory Committee. So it is a top decision-making committee for security, apart from now Cabinet and the President himself. So I became the Secretary and I served there for 3 years.
His biggest assignment came in 2009 when he was appointed as the aide-de-camp of the country's third president, Mwai Kibaki.
From there that I was spotted and attached to the State House to be the ADC. That was 2009 to 2010, thereabouts. In 2010, we participated in the campaigns for the 2010 Constitution, the campaigns for the Constitution, the referendum, and obviously the promulgation. That's a proud moment, and I think it's a landmark for Kenya. I was proud to have been serving at that time.
As Kingangi notes, the work of an aide-de-camp was very engaging and entailed more than just securing the head of state.
The aide-de-camp is you are there to assist the president to perform his duties, particularly public duties, which means you alert that he will read a speech. You must know where the speech is. You are allowed to know that at a certain time he will be moving to another meeting. And you have to be alert to that. And you have to know what to do to make sure the meeting ends in time. You are allowed to know if you're flying an helicopter, helicopters don't fly at night. But more importantly is that the ADC is a quick link. It's like a hotline to the defense headquarters. Finally, the president's safety. When you're standing behind the president, you have the view of everybody in front of the president. The president is busy talking or he's seated there, so you send a signal so that that fella is intercepted before he gets too near.
Kingangi remembers an incident in the year 2012 when he had to secure the then President Mwai Kibaki from a raging inferno when the late president led the nation in burning ivory that had been seized from poachers.
I think one time we were burning ivory somewhere down, I think it was Savo National Park. Now people don't know that ivory doesn't burn. It actually doesn't burn. So when you see flames coming out, there is an engine somewhere pumping diesel under the ivory. So in this case, the president was given the torch. He tried once, twice. So people panicked and said, Ongeza. So more fuel was pumped. But the president was busy lighting. The escort commander who is in front of him tried to snatch the torch from him. He refused. And the fire was becoming bigger. I had to move around quickly and stand in front of him. But it was so quick, so quick that it would have been a disaster. But the fire never went far. Of course, that was it. So the safety.
He says many people didn't know that the late President Mwai Kibaki had a bias for perfection and doing things properly.
I learned, even in the military and serving with the president, that you have to do the proper thing all the time. Do the proper thing. Don't worry about the consequences. You cannot go wrong.
As the man tasked with being the president's shadow, that meant he had to skip several personal engagements and had little time for his family.
It can strain the family. It can strain the family because I think what is most straining is not even the immediate family, because you're with them. But you have your mother and your father and whatever, things are happening, there's a burial, there's a wedding, there's a this, and you completely miss. So in such cases, I would have to send somebody to say ADC could not come.
Colonel Kingangi would later resign from the force to join politics seeking the Mbeere South MP seat in the year 2012, but was unsuccessful in his first stint.
When I went to politics, I was very mistaken because I thought it's like the military. I'll tell people this is what we're doing, let's go, they'll do it. They don't. Have managed to transform from a military to a politician. The people in the village, they come as individuals to Mheshimiwa. You have to stop and listen. And funny enough, you learn a lot. When you listen. And I think it has made me a better person even in the family.
He would later be appointed as the chairman of the National Cereals and Produce Board the same year, but later resigned to try his hands at politics again in 2017. This time round, he successfully became the Mbeere South MP, a post he served for 5 years till the 2022 elections, where he chose not to defend his seat to join President William Ruto's campaign trail. A family man with children living abroad, Kingangi also enjoys singing in the church choir and reading.
Retired Colonel Honorable Geoffrey Kingangi has served the country for decades as a military officer and also as a legislator. And he notes that the future of the country is bright if we all pull together as Kenyans.
Just hours after we recorded this interview, retired Colonel Geoffrey Kingangi was appointed by President William Ruto as the Deputy National Security Advisor for External Affairs.
For Military Tales, I'm Ben Troy Njoy.
Born in March 1948, Nyaga graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics and political science from the University of Nairobi in 1970. He proceeded to the United States for a master's degree in management, finance and management option. He then worked at the First National Bank of Chicago, which is part of today's JP Morgan and Chase Bank, New York. Kenya Bus Service, McRae and Smith Accountants and British American Tobacco Kenya Limited. Between 1987 and 1991, he was Chief Executive Officer of the national carrier Kenya Airways. Before moving to the Kenya Airways, he was Kenya's ambassador to the European Union, Belgium and Luxembourg for 4 years. Nyaga was among President Daniel Arap Moi's cabinet appointees after the 1997 general election. In the new cabinet lineup announced on 9th January 1998, just days after being appointed to the cabinet, Nyaga asked the media to pursue reconciliation among Kenyans in the wake of the divisive 1997 general election. He promised to create a conducive atmosphere for press freedom. Nyaga was Minister for Information and Broadcasting during the clamour for the liberalisation of the airwaves. It was during his tenure that the Communications Commission of Kenya, since renamed Communications Authority of Kenya, was established. It is charged with the allocation of radio and television broadcasting frequencies. In November 1999, Nyaga was moved to the Ministry of Lands and Settlement just as the media bill was being debated. He had set up a task force on press laws to draft the bill. Nyaga was later moved to the office of the president as Minister of State. But before the 2002 general election, he left KANU and resigned from his ministerial position to join the opposition's National Rainbow Coalition. In 2009, he was appointed for cooperative development and marketing in the coalition government of President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga. But this time he was a member of the Orange Democratic Movement Party's Pentagon, a summit of the party leadership. He was also the Chancellor of the Cooperative University of Kenya from 2016 to 2017. Between 2013 and 2017, he served as Presidential Advisor in charge of Northern Corridor integration projects before he resigned to run for president as an independent candidate. He came a distant third in the August 8, 2017 general election that was annulled by the Supreme Court over irregularities and malpractices. He also lost in the subsequent repeat presidential election. Nyaga wrote a number of books, including An Africa's Minister's Lesson for Cooperatives. He died on December 11, 2020. Jackie
Chilo Ayako was born on 10th of September 1968 and brought up in the present-day Migori County. He joined Homabay Secondary School for his O-levels, and after his advanced levels at Alliance High School, he joined the University of Nairobi to study law. In the run-up to the 1997 general election, Ayako was among the new faces in the National Development Party NDP that was led by Raila Odinga, who had reactivated the party after breaking away from Ford Kenya. He vied for the Rongo parliamentary seat as a fresh law graduate, defeating the then flamboyant, eloquent and wealthy KANU politician and cabinet minister Dalmas Otieno. NDP would become the most dominant party in Luo Nyanza from 1997 to 2002. With this win, Ayako became one of Raila Odinga's most trusted political lieutenants in the Nyanza region. In 1998, he was among the NDP MPs who voted against a no-confidence motion sponsored by James Orengo that had been moved against the then-President Daniel Arap Moi. Following this, Ayako was part of a select team that was tasked with conducting parliamentary reforms whose objective was to fight for the autonomy of Parliament. It was this team that helped establish the Parliamentary Service Commission and introduce the provision of offices for all MPs. In the 2002 general election, Ochilo was re-elected to Parliament on a NAC ticket and thereafter appointed Minister for Energy in the Kibaki government. His assistant minister was Mwangi Kionjuri. He served a short stint in the ministry from 2003 to 2004, and in this time he was credited with bringing widespread reforms in the sector, some of which led to international donors and the World Bank restoring their support through the Energy Sector Recovery Project. Ayako was also credited with strengthening the operations of Kenya Electricity Generating Company KenGen after its detachment from Kenya Power Company. He also spearheaded the phasing out of leaded petrol in the country. Despite orchestrating several reforms in the ministry, on 30th June 2004, President Kibaki executed his first major government reshuffle, and Ford People leader Simeon Nyachai was appointed the new Minister for Energy. Ayako was transferred to the less powerful Ministry of Sports, Gender and Culture, where he would last only 1 year before being fired from the cabinet for not supporting the government in the 2005 referendum. In the 1 year at the Sports Ministry, Ayako introduced the sports policy that culminated in the Sports Act and the Gender Policy Act that led to the establishment of the Gender Commission. He was also involved in the successful bid to have the 2011 World Athletics Championships held in Kenya. The 2005 referendum ended his cabinet career after President Kibaki sacked all the ministers who opposed the government-backed draft constitution. In 2007 general election, Ayako lost the Rongo parliamentary seat to his old rival Dalmas Otieno. After the elections, the Kenya-South Sudan Liaison Office seconded Ayako to South Sudan as a legal advisor to President Salva Kiir on legislative and constitutional matters. In the coalition government, Ayako was appointed executive chairman and CEO of the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board, where he served until 2013. Ayako made a return to elective politics in 2017 when he unsuccessfully vied for the Migori governorship against incumbent Okoth Obado. In 2018, Ayako won in a by-election triggered by the death of Migori Senator Ben Oluoch. In the 2022 general election, Ayako successfully vied for Migori governorship, becoming the governor of Migori County. For the cabinet, I'm Ben. We travel to Chogoria in Tharaka Nithi County to meet one retired Kenya Air Force Warrant Officer 1 Lloyd Gitari. Gitari was an airman who retired in the year 2009 and served the Kenya Air Force wing of the Kenya Defence Forces for 35 years. Gitari's journey started in Ikirwe village in Chogoria, where he attended Katharaka Primary School and Kereine Secondary School before joining the Air Force when he was only 20 years old in 1974. After training, Gitari would be posted to the Laikipia Air Base as an accounts clerk.
Mostly my main interest was in teaching, and when I tried, I could not get. It just happened by chance that there was a recruitment, and I enlisted in the Kenya Air Force. I went in the normal military training, and after training I was posted first to Moi Air Base as an accounts clerk, but I went several trainings concerning accounts. Then from there, I was again posted to Laikipia Air Base, where I worked up to the year 1991, and then thereafter went back to Moi Air Base, where I retired.
The 1982 attempted coup that was orchestrated by Air Force officers was his most trying moment, which also led to him being detained until he was cleared.
Those were very, very trying moments for young soldiers like ourselves. First of all, discharged from the Kenya Air Force Service, and we went to prison for some time. But we went interrogations and all these things, and then we came clean. After that, I still went back to Laikipia Air Base and continued with my work as an account clerk.
After the attempted coup, he would diligently rise through the ranks to become a Warrant Officer 1 in charge of the accounts department at the Laikipia Air Base.
I was promoted to corporal, sergeant, senior sergeant, Warrant Officer 2. Then when I was promoted to Warrant Officer 1, that's the time I went to Moi Air Base, where I was in charge of the account section.
Gitari is quick to note that the military has grown in leaps and bounds, especially in the welfare and morale of soldiers.
Changes have been there. Many changes are there. Welfare of soldiers has gone up. Then also we can say on matters of salary. I think welfare, on side of welfare and those emoluments.
His work in the accounts department was not without challenges, especially when back in the day the technology was still in its infancy. A lot of the finances were handled as hard cash.
There seems to be petty losses of money, or you could meet those members of the junior cadre staff who are not honest. Because these are young soldiers, I was able to cancel either those who went extreme. The commanders were always there. They could give you a hearing.
His advice to young soldiers is to uphold discipline,
stay true to country and have a steadfast commitment to their duties.
There are so many unemployed young men, and now these who have already joined the forces, they have the chance of instilling that discipline, also developing themselves financially and also materially.
Gitare, who was part of the UN peacekeeping mission to Eritrea in 2006, has lauded the passing of the Veterans Act, which will, among others, look into the welfare of veterans.
At least on matters of medical, on matters of other welfare, at least they will be looked into. The welfare of soldiers stands to improve very much.
After his retirement, Gitare is now a community leader and is engaged in numerous community-based projects and is also a fully-fledged farmer.
I am the chairman of the Rakanidi Defoka Defense Forces of Comrades Association, being selected as a chairman of one of our dispensaries around, the dispensary you have seen around there. In the community, I'm also an area manager in the community.
Away from the military and farming, Gitare enjoys watching movies and also reading.
In fact, I see the best place to relax either to go and check on my tea plantation, just see what needs to be done. Sometimes tend on my cows when my farm worker is not around. And sometimes relax on watching some movies, the news, and that, or going to church.
A family man and a father of 3 sons, he says none of them followed in their father's footsteps.
We were blessed with 3 boys. One is deceased, our firstborn. The other 2, we've got one called Evans Kenywa. He's an actuarist. He works in Nairobi. The other one is also in Nairobi. He's doing some Hasra's job there. He is also a graduate of information technology.
In his closing remarks, he urged Kenyans to love their country and not take for granted the peace enjoyed within the borders, as many neighboring countries are embroiled in civil unrest.
Peace, as I have said, is the only key to survival of the Kenyans. Even if the economy is as hard as it is, without peace, I think peace and discipline are the key. Try and save for tomorrow, and life will be easy. Let us educate our children. Let us keep discipline in whatever we do. And the final thing, don't forget God.
For Military Tales, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Otieno Nyakiamo was born in Kaksingri along the shores of Lake Victoria. He attended local schools where he honed his leadership qualities. In 1946, he sat his final exam at Mangu High School and was set to join Makerere University in Uganda, an institution of choice and prestige in East and Central Africa at the time, to train as a teacher, but this did not happen because a bank job opportunity came knocking and he grabbed it. In 1956, Nyakiamo was sent for training in England. At that time, he was earning 100 shillings in monthly salary. Due to his sterling performance, Nyakiamo was promoted to general manager overseeing Barclays Bank in Kenya until his retirement in June 1982.
He was approached by a section of Mbita constituents and leaders from Kaksingri to vie for the parliamentary seat then held by Alphonse Okuku, the brother to Tom Mboya. He decided to take up the challenge. However, he faced an immediate dilemma as his father and Mboya's father were family friends, and his mother and Mboya's mother were relatives from the Wakula clan. Nyakiamo's father was also Mboya's godfather. During the 1983 snap elections, Nyakiamo won by a landslide. President Moi appointed him the Minister for East African Affairs. He held the position for 1.5 years before a transfer to the Ministry of Health, where he worked for 2 years before being moved to the Ministry of Lands for another 2 years. One of his big achievements was a multi-billion shilling medical deal between the Kenyan and Danish governments for the latter to supply medical kits to all hospitals and health facilities in the country. Another was the introduction of a private wing at Kenyatta National Hospital to cater for patients who could afford to pay extra for specialized treatment, as was the case in private hospitals in Nairobi and other towns. In the 1992 general election, he lost his parliamentary seat. Nyakiamo is remembered for increasing and expanding educational and health facilities in Mbita constituency. Moisindo Girls Secondary School was the first to be set up with 30 students that has since increased to 800. As the Minister for Health, he also influenced the upgrading and refurbishing of Mbita Health Center, now renamed Suba County Referral Hospital, and initiated dispensaries on Mfangano and Rusinga Islands. He also led a serious campaign to have his Suba sub-tribe recognized and a district for it carved out of Homa Bay district. He serves as a trustee of the
za kanda ya Afrika Mashariki. Karibu kwa kipindi chetu cha kwa Kenya ni mwendani wako wa kispoti. AFCON sisi ndio tuko, lakini tuache hayo ya AFCON mtazamaji. Tunapofungua kipindi chetu cha kwanza mwaka huu wa 2024, ni mengi ambayo yametamalaki mtazamaji, ni mengi ya kuyajadili, ni mengi ya kuyazungumza. Kuna masuala ya wanawake kuuliwa katika vyumba vya malazi, kuna masuala ya kidiplomasia kati ya Kenya na Tanzania, lakini la mno zaidi kuna utata, kuna vuta ni kuvute kati ya serikali kuu na mahakama. Je, ni nini kinachotokota mtazamaji? Jana tarehe 15 mwezi Januari mwaka 2024, jaji mkuu aliyepia rais wa mahakama ya juu Bi Martha Koome alihutubia vyombo vya habari na kueleza bayana baadhi ya changamoto ambazo idara ya mahakama imekuwa ikipitia. Mtazamaji, jaji mkuu anataka idara ya mahakama kukutana na serikali na haswa Rais William Ruto ili kutatua mizozano ambayo imekuwepo kati yao. Serikali inadai kuwa kuna wafanyikazi katika idara ya mahakama ambao wamelemaza ajenda maendeleo ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Upande wa serikali unadai kwamba ufisadi umekithiri katika idara ya mahakama. Idara ya mahakama nayo inasema ina majukumu mengi katika maendeleo ya demokrasia na siasa, kiuchumi na kijamii. Katiba ya mwaka 2010 mtazamaji ilipatia idara ya mahakama uwezo na uhuru wa kutekeleza wajibu wake kibinafsi. Tumeshuhudia mtazamaji ukuaji wa idara ya mahakama tangu mwaka wa 2010 ya sasa ilipoanza kutekelezwa. Je, swali ni, idara ya mahakama na serikali kuu zina nafasi ya kushirikiana? Na je, pendekezo la mkutano kati ya idara ya mahakama na serikali kuu taleta uwiano kati yao? Mtazamaji, ndani ya studio kwa mara nyingine tena tunaye mheshimiwa mbunge wa Limuru, mheshimiwa mhandisi Kiragu Shege. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante sana.
Habari ya mwaka mpya?
Ni nzuri kabisa.
Nilikuwa ukisikia ukisema kwamba umepotea sababu ya El Nino.
Niko mvua imekuwa tele, lakini nashukuru Mungu.
Karibu sana mheshimiwa ndani ya studio zetu. Tunaona mambo mwaka mpya mambo.
Kabisa. Sasa hii KBC inaonekana iko tayari kutupatia service mwaka huu wa 2024.
Asante. Na vile pia niko naye mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa na kisheria wakili Gibson. Karibu sana ndugu.
Asante sana Rashid kwa kunialika.
Gibson, inaonekana barabara za Nairobi zimeanza kukulemea.
Mheshimiwa watashughulikia hiyo.
Karibuni sana. Labda nikianza na mheshimiwa Kiragu, tuanze na hotuba ya Jaji Mkuu Martha Koome kwa vyombo vya habari hapo jana. Koome alisema itakuwa vibaya ikiwa serikali itaenda kinyume cha maagizo mbalimbali ya mahakama. Hebu tutafsiri haya matamshi ya Jaji Mkuu, kwa sababu Jaji Mkuu alidai kuwa serikali imeingilia sana idara ya mahakama. Je, kiupande wako mheshimiwa, unahisi kwamba serikali imeingilia sana mahakama?
Kwanza mimi ni niseme asante kwa kunialika, na pia nilifurahia kuona hiyo press conference ya jana, kwa sababu yale aliyesema mheshimiwa Chief Justice ni kusema kumekuwa na ufisadi, na akakonfirm vile wengi wetu wanaamini that ufisadi sio tu ya zile area zingine kama tuseme legislature ama executive ama kwa wananchi wa kawaida, hata judiciary ni moja wapo wa idara ambao ni wa Kenya
kweli,
na wale wanafanya kazi huku ni ndugu zetu, baba zetu na dada zetu, kwa hivyo tunawajua. Na ukisikia watu wakisema kuna shida, ni lazima hata wao wajue kuna yale tunayajua. Kwa hivyo wakati alisema na akapeana record ya ile mambo yote ya wale ambao wamehusika na ufisadi mwaka jana, wale majaji na judicial officers ambao wamestakiwa kwa Judicial Service Commission, ni kusema ya kwamba kuna shida. Na pia kupande wa serikali, unajua kama sisi Kenya Kwanza tulienda kwa wananchi tukawaambia tutawafanyia nyumba, tutawalete mambo ya afya, tutafanya yale yote ambayo ilikuwa kwa ile manifesto yetu. Kwa hivyo hata sisi unajua tuko na time scale yetu, tuko na mpango. Na kwa hivyo ile jambo ambalo tungetaka watu wajadiliane ni kweli iko independence, na sisi tunaamini kabisa mambo ya independence sana ya judiciary, kwa sababu najua hata president mwenyewe alipoingia ile wale majaji ambao walikuwa wamekataliwa kuwa appointed, ndio alikuwa kwanza kusaini hawa, na pia akawapatia pesa ndio wawe watu independent kutoka kwa executive. Lakini unajua watu wanaweza kutumia koti vibaya hasa. Kushika watu mikono ndio wasifanye kazi, na ile tunasema sisi zote ni wa Kenya na haja zetu ni wana Kenya. Kwa hivyo every section of the government, the judiciary, legislature ama executive, ni lazima tuangalie hali ya Mkenya. Na imekuwa nchi hii yetu ni nchi ya litigation. Ukikohoa kidogo mtu amekimbia. Mimi hata unashangaa kwa sababu tunataka uchumi uendelee, tunataka mipango ya serikali iendelee, lakini ni lazima na sisi tuwe watu ambao wanajali maslahi ya wananchi. Na pia wajue kama president mwenyewe amechaguliwa na Wakenya, na kwenda around nchi yote na agenda zile ambazo walipatia wananchi akachaguliwa. Ni kusema wananchi walisema haya mambo ni mazuri, na kuanza tena kutumia njia zingine kupinga haya maneno sio mzuri.
Shikilia hapo hapo mheshimiwa, tutarudi kwako, nirudi kwake wakili Gibson Gisore. Nadhani mheshimiwa hapa ameweza kuzungumzia akiweza kuvutia upande wake. Labda wewe kama mwanasheria, kama wakili, je, unadhani kwamba serikali imeingilia idara ya mahakama, na kama imeingilia ni kivipi?
Asante sana Rashid kwa kunialika katika hiki kikao ya leo, na nashukuru kumwona mheshimiwa baada ya siku mingi. Yale ameongelea kwamba alifurahia kwamba Chief Justice Martha Koome alikiri kwamba kuna ufisadi katika kile kitengo cha mahakama. Ufisadi uko kila mahali. Ningependa kusema kwamba ufisadi uko kila mahali, na hata wale sio koti peke yake, ama wale
majaji. Na wakati wa bunge pia walikuwa wanaongwa.
Walikuwa wanapata 10,000, 1,000. So isije wakapaka koti tope kwa sababu ya ile kitu inafanyika Kenya yote. Ile yenye tujaona ni ile wabunge kushikwa kupelekwa kotini kwa kula hongo. Na hii hongo mostly inapata ni kwamba kuna mkono wa serikali pale ndani. Sasa kwa koti ambapo hatuna hiyo, ndio inaonekana kwamba inaelekezwa kidole cha lawama, na ni vizuri kwa sababu tukue na ile checks and balances. Nilikuwa naambia rafiki yangu kwamba hii siasa inapigwa juu ya mahakama ni mzuri, kwa sababu pia pale mahakamani kuna wale watu ambao there are some very bad rotten eggs pale ndani, so ndio pia waogope. But yangu kusema ni kwamba sio vizuri rais kutokea ama wanasiasa kutokea na kuanza kupiga mahakama vita ambavyo wanaipiga. Ile tungetarajia kwamba kuna namba ya ule Chief Justice angemuita pale State House waweze kukaa chini, wamwambie tuko na hii mpango na hii mpango na hii mpango, tungetaka utusaidie vipi. Wale majaji wako kuna vile wanaweza harakisha zile orders zimepewa, wanaweza harakisha zile cases zisikizwe haraka ziishi, ili tuweze kuendelea na mpango yetu, because ile checks and balances pia ina ile cohesion. Lazima kukuwe na ile cohesion ndio work well. Ni kama gari, ukiwa na steering lazima iwork vizuri, na engine lazima iwork coordinate vizuri, na hata wheels ndio gari iweze kwenda. Sasa serikali inafaa kufanya hivyo, but ile siasa tumeona koti kipigwa hadharani ni italeta ile kukosa imani na koti na wananchi, na iwapo tutakuwa pale itaweza kuleta shida ya ambayo Wakenya watakosa imani na koti. Watasema hata tukienda kotini ya watu ni corrupt, tuwezi pata haki. Unapata kama umechukua shambangu Rashid, mimi ni kuchukua panga na kushughulikia. Na iwapo itakuwa hivyo italeta ile sura mbaya. Wanasiasa wenyewe wamefaidika kutoka zile court orders, but wanapofaidika wananyamazia. Wakipata orders against wao, iwapo wanatoka nje wanasema ikoti ni corrupt, ikoti haitupendelei, ikoti itaki mipango ya serikali kocha. Tungependa kukua na ukweli ndio tuweze kuendelea kama taifa. Kama kuna shida mali tuseme shida iko. Kama hamna shida wacha tuendelee tusaidiane ili tuweze kusaidia taifa letu. The constitution iliamua kutenga ile koti ikuwe independent for a reason. Kwa sababu we are a constitutional democracy wenye tunafuata ile rule of law. Tusipoacha koti ifanye mambo yake ama tu engage zile instituted processes, na vile jaji mkuu alisema kwamba wale ambao tumewashika kama tuko na evidence kwamba wamekula mlungula, tuko na process wanaendelea kwa process, because there exists a process. Tusije tukafanya mambo kwamba hakuna process. Unajua wanasiasa wakisema wasemi kuna process, wao wanasema hii kosi yote ni corrupt, hakuna kitu inaendelea. Na hiyo hapo ndio shida yangu ipo. Kwa sababu ile dhana ambayo wanajaribu kueneza ni dhana ambayo iwezi saidia Kenya kuendelea mbele. Vile wanadai kwamba koti ndio inalemeza Kenya kuendelea mbele, wao pia wanafanya hivyo on the other side kwa kulaumu koti, ili hali tunafaa kukaa chini tuamue. Sio mara ya kwanza Kenya kupiga msasa koti imefanywa kama mara mbili in 203 na around somewhere around 208 I think after 209 hapo tuliweza kukaa chini tukaangalia wale walikuwa corrupt walitoka. So kama kumekuwa na hizo processes mbeleni, hatumaanishi hatutazifanya tena, tunaweza zifanya tena, but ile kufanya koti wananchi wakose imani na koti ndio shida iko hapo pale.
Nirudi na mheshimiwa.
Nataka kuongezea. Najua hii mambo kama vile ndugu yangu amesema ati president angempigia simu sijui nini. Hatutaki nchi ambao tunaendesha na siri. Kama kuna kitu unataka kusema wewe sema. Ndio na sisi wananchi ambao wako nje na sisi tunachangia. Kwa hivyo ile ya muhimu kwa sababu hii nchi ni tunaamini na rule of law na hata sisi kwa serikali hii ya Kenya Kwanza sisi ndio tulisema rule of law ni very important kwetu na ile tunasema wakati mwingine hata matope inatupwa, hata nguruwe zinaletwa pale mbunge na sisi hatupigi kelele hata president mwenyewe executive unasikia mawaziri wake yeye na ametupiwa matope sana. Sasa hii matope kidogo tu ya kusema nyinyi kuna uchafu fulani upande wenu haiwezi kuwa ati ndio italeta Kenya chini. Hii Kenya foundation yake is very solid. Kwa hivyo hakuna branch yote ya serikali ambayo inaweza kuangusha hii nchi. Ile tunasema tuwe na ukweli kama ni mambo ya kama haya ati kuna ufisadi kwa judiciary ni mzuri vile walisema wamefanya kazi, wanataka hata president kama ako na information nyingine wapate ndio waweze kufanya kazi yao vizuri ndio waondoe wale.
Shikilia hapo mheshimiwa, umesema kwamba jaji mkuu alisema kama rais ana taarifa nyingine aweze kuwasaidia, sawa? Na kulingana na katiba kipengele cha 132 sehemu ya pili ibara ya A inasema kwamba the constitution places upon him, the president, obligation to respect, uphold and safeguard the constitution. If he has evidence of corruption in the process of judicial decisions, the constitutional and lawful course of action is to report and supply the evidence to various organs. Various organs, wacha nirudi hapa. Kwanza, kuna Judicial Service Commission, alafu kuna Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Huyu ni rais wa nchi. Ameona kuna makosa, anasema kuna watu kadhaa. Mbona ule ushahidi asupeleke kwa Judicial Service, anakuja kwenye mazishi anasema?
Nafikiri umewacha organ ile ingine.
Gani?
Wananchi. Wananchi ambao walimchagua. Hawezi kuwa anasema hata kama ni jirani anataka kuataki hii nchi anyamaze kwa sababu kuna commander wa army ama air force. Ni lazima aambie wananchi kuna hatari. Kwa hivyo kuongea kwa wananchi na kuwaeleza naona kuna shida fulani. Hiyo pia ni organ ambao anaweza kutumia kwa sababu yeye amewekwa hapo na wananchi. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko na uhuru. Na hiyo ndio ya muhimu. Hii nchi tuko na uhuru wa kila mtu kuongea. Na uwezi kusema ati president hapana, wewe hutaki kuongea na kina fulani, lakini lazima uongee na fulani na fulani. Hii mambo ya siri hatutaki. Kama kuna jambo wacha wananchi wote wa Kenya wajue. Wakati KBC ambao wakati mwingine mna sukuma si kila mtu anaongea juu yenu. Lakini uwezi kusema hapana twende kwa ministry sijui kwa nani, hapana wanaenda hewani wanasema KBC iko hivi ama hivi. Kwa hivyo yangu ni sana kupromote this uhuru wa kuongea nchi hii kwa sababu hiyo ndio kitu ya maana. Chief Justice alikuwa na press conference yake na hiyo ni muhimu kuambia wananchi kwa sababu hii press conference alikuwa anaambia nani? Alikuwa anaambia wananchi. President akienda pahali naye anaongea kwa wananchi. Kwa hivyo ile kitu ya muhimu ni sisi kupromote that freedom of speech na pia kujua hakuna arm of government that can secretly run the country. Sasa wewe hutaki kuchaguliwa lakini una mpango kengine kando kuongoza. nchi na kuleta ajenda zako ambazo sio ajenda za wale ambao walichaguliwa. Ile ni lazima tuongee wazi kabisa, watu wanaelewa kama kuna hiyo manifesto na watu hakutaka hiyo manifesto, na labda wangekuwa wameenda kotini wakati wa manifesto waseme hii manifesto hatutaikubali hii, na waende kotini waseme hii msipublish hii manifesto. Lakini watu wanaona watu wamepublish manifesto, imeenda through, watu wameapprove, alafu sasa
but mheshimiwa watu walilipwa kwa accept, unapoa 500 unapatiwa t-shirt, utaenda kotini wapi?
Wewe wapi? Wewe uliona nani akilipwa? Unajua naye hiyo ni uvumi. Na wapi uliona watu wakilipwa? Campaign watu walipiga kura kwa siri. Uliona wapi watu wakipewa
kwenda debeni? Watu walikuwa wanapigwa.
Wanani hapana. Sasa unaharibu hii Kenya.
Shida nyingine kidogo.
Kama hukupiga kura ama ulichukua kitu ndio kupiga kura njia fulani wewe sema. Lakini watu wengi nchi hii walienda kwa siri na wakachaguana. Na wakasema mimi nachagua hapa kwa sababu nimesoma, nimesikiza mambo ya hii manifesto ya hawa na naona hapa ndio nitapiga kura. Na wao ndio walikuwa wengi wale walichagua Kenya Kwanza. Na vile tunasema na ni mzuri sisi kama legislature, hata pande zote mbili na hata judiciary na executive tuko na wakati wa miaka 5 wa kuimplement hii plan ambayo tuko naye. Na ni vizuri watu wasije tu kuweka roadblocks huku ndio ati sasa in 5 years ati hakuna kitu ya kuonyesha.
Kilia hapo kwa roadblocks, mheshimiwa naona wakili Gisore kidogo alikuwa anatofautiana nawe. Nambo na Gisore
yangu ni kusema kwamba unajua kila mcheza ngoma uvuta kwake, kila mwamba ngoma uvuta kwake, na mheshimiwa hiyo ndiye anafanya. Anasema kuna ile rule of law na kuna ile pia checks and balance. Sasa nakubaliana, naongea vizuri, lakini pia ukiangalia hiyo rule of law ndio inasema fuata constitution. Umemsomea constitution vizuri, ile ambayo rais anafaa kufanya hajafanya. Sasa iweje ametengeneza kitengo ingine? Hizi vitengo zimetengenezwa na wananchi wakasema hapa hivi ndio tumekubali tuweze kusimamiwa. Iweje rais akaona hizi vitengo hazina maana, wacha niende kwa wananchi kwanza, sijui kama baadaye ndiye atarudi na hiyo evidence ama itakuwa vipi. But kidogo mimi nasema hii mambo yote ni sawa, but wacha tufuate ile rule of law. Tuanze na constitution kwanza, ikishindikana ndio ende kwa wananchi. Hakuna cha asiri, because wananchi ndio waliamua hizi vitengo zifanye kazi jinsi constitution inasema. Na tukianza kutengeneza another side laws kando za kufuata na kusema kwamba hii koti ni kama iko na agenda yake ya kustop agenda ya Kenya Kwanza, hakuna mtu sioni koti ikiwa na hiyo agenda. Ni ile kwamba tukitoka katika hizi constitutional provisions tutakuwa tumeanza kutengeneza barabara nyingine kando na constitution ambayo hatujui inatuelekeza wapi, na hiyo ndio tunafaa kujihadhari kama taifa. Na tukianza kutengeneza njia tushafika pale. Unakumbuka 2007-2008 uchaguzi ulifanyika, wananchi wakaona kwamba haijaenda sawa, wakaambiwa waenda kotini, wakasema 20 kotini because hatuna imani na koti, sisi tutasquare our problems hapa nje. Hatufai kurudi pale, na hivi ndio inaanza. Tunafaa kuwa makini sana, tunafaa kuangalia kila jambo ambalo linaongelewa. President ni symbol of national unity. Iwepo kuna constitution ambayo anafaa kufuata, wacha ifuate kwanza, aziambie wananchi. Akienda kwa wananchi anawaambia mimi nilipeana evidence pale, mimi nilienda kwa EACC, but mnaona hakuna kitu imefanyika, ndio nakuja kwenyu. Wananchi hawana roho ngumu, watasema tulikupea kazi ufanye, na usinzi umefanya hiyo kazi, wacha wewe fanya vile tunakuwa vile chukua mkondo mwingine ambayo pia sisi tutakubaliana na wewe. But sasa kama haijafanyika, naona kidogo ni kwamba tunaanza kutengeneza njia ama barabara nyingine kando na constitution ambayo itatusaidia.
Rashid, najua wewe ni wakili na mimi ni mhandisi.
Ndio.
Kwa trainings yetu time is very important. Shida za mawakili, nasema mawakili wote time haina shida. Hata ukimwambia huyu anahitaji oxygen wanaweza kukaa hapo kuongea mpaka mtu ayafe. Kwa sababu for them ati tunafuata sijui nini mazungumzo ile iko, na mimi naomba tu nchi hii siku moja tusiwe watu ambao wamechagua wakili president. Alafu judiciary iwe na wakili. Attorney General atakuwa wakili. Ukiingia bunge ukute upande wa speaker wa National Assembly awe wakili. Na Senate awe wakili. Nakwambia itakuwa shida, na mimi nasema asante sana kwa wananchi wa Kenya. Kutoka wakati wa independence mpaka saa hii hakuna wakili ambaye amechaguliwa president. Ni lazima tuchunge sana, kwa sababu sisi kama wananchi time is very important ya kuexecute kitu. Mimi nimekuwa hata babangu walikuwa na kesi ya shamba 24 years. Wanakufa wote ati kesho kutwa nini, kwa sababu kuna mtu anasukuma huyo kitu ipeleke mbele. Huyu mzee anaonekana anakuwa mzee sasa, anaweza kufa next year, wanaweka ile. Tunajua ni muhimu tukubali that time is a very very important resource ambayo ni lazima itumiwe vizuri. Kama unaona tuseme hii ni mjengo ya hospitali, inahitajika kumalizika in 2-3 years, kwa sababu ni muhimu kwa mwananchi. Ukilete maneno ndio iende 10 years sijui nini mvurutano, ni lazima ujiulize sasa ni wakati gani ambao nchi hii tutaendelea.
Mheshimiwa Engineer, shikilia hapo.
Amepiga mawakili, nipe ruhusa ya kujibu.
Haya, mjibu alafu nimuulize swali langu.
Yes, alafu muulize. Mawakili ni muhimu katika taifa, Engineer. Nakumbuka katika ile fight ya liberation, the second liberation, mawakili ndio walikuwa katika mrengo wa kwanza kusaidia. Ndio ilileta hii constitution.
Mawakili peke yao.
Lakini wengi walikuwa mawakili. Wengi walikuwa mawakili na ndio walikuwa wanapeana mwelekeo. Sasa hii liberation ya hii yenye tunaenjoy, hata wewe kukuwa mbunge, ni kwamba mawakili waliweza kuweka mguu wao mbele, wakasema hii taifa lazima iongozwe kisheria, na hiyo ndio tunajaribu kufight kuensure kwamba
ni mawakili wangapi walikuwa kwa msitu wakati wa kutafuta uhuru?
Mawakili ndio walikuwa wanatetea wakati wa uhuru, ndio walikuwa wanatetea kina Kenyatta, kina Charles Dennis Pritt au Dennis Pritt Road, ndio walikuwa wanatetea Kenyatta wakienda kotini na tukapata independence.
Walikuwa wapi? Walikuwa wenye kupigania uhuru walikuwa.
Kila mtu hawezi kuwa kwa msitu, lazima kukuwe na wengine pale nje. Mkipeleka kesi kotini wakili. Engineer ni kama akona issue na mawakili.
Mtazamaji, hapa
bibi yangu ni wakili na
hapa itabidi kuletwe kahawa ya moto kabla kusonga mbele. Nikirudi kwako Mheshimiwa Engineer, viongozi hasa wa Kenya Kwanza tumewaona wakiongozwa na kiongozi walio wengi, Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wah, na vile vile pia tumemwona pia naibu rais Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua. Wanadai idara ya mahakama imepelekea mipango mbalimbali ya serikali kukwama. Labda kivyako, umesema wewe ni engineer, lakini hapa nitakuuliza swali la kisheria. Mipango hii inafaa kuandamana vipi na sheria za Kenya?
Najua hii mipango yenyewe ni mipango ambao labda tumejadiliana bunge, imepitishwa na executive iko na plan ambayo wako naye ya kuimplement. Sasa sisi tumefanya kazi yetu, alafu executive inataka kuimplement, alafu watu wengine makona jamaa
watu wengine ni kina nani? Hawana majina
wao. Hao watu ni watu wa kujificha. Wanaenda huko nyuma. Sio ati mahakama, tuseme ukweli, ati unajua mahakama ukipeleka kesi ni lazima wawasikilize
kweli,
lakini ile tunasema time. Sasa hata kama unajua hii kitu, hata wewe wakili, wewe upande wa judiciary wanajua hii kitu hakuna pali inaenda, lakini you get into hiyo system ya delay. Kama ni kitu ambao you can make a decision in 2 weeks, itakuwa 3 months. 3 months inakuwa 6 months. Ile tunasema at least even them they can see that hii kitu what are the merit. Lakini unasikia imesongeshwa. Na sisi tunalia, tunasema hii kitu you are supposed to implement kama ni health plan ama ni mambo ya building. We have a plan. Lakini sasa hii mambo ya kusongesha wewe ndio tunaanza kuuliza hawa watu bona wako na sisi kwa manufaa ya wananchi ama wako na mpango ingine huku nyuma. Na hiyo ndio kitu tungetaka kujadiliana. Hata judiciary vile wanasema, mimi ningetaka hata wakati wanakuja kuongea waongee mambo ya timelines. Some of these cases do not need to delay. Kwa sababu hiyo kudelay ni in fact kufunga nchi, kueneza ile maneno ambao wangetaka kuyaona ifanyike.
Kama justice delayed,
just denied. Okay. Na hiyo nakwambia is the biggest challenge. Ile tunauliza ni pesa hawana, ni nini hawana, ndio kitu things cannot be fastened. Otherwise nobody is saying that we should not give judiciary the opportunity to do their part. Lakini time. Si sasa like now for example, si tunajua kuna watoto wanaenda form 1. Jana ama juzi mimi nimepata pesa ya bursary. Kwa sababu executive inajua come this yesterday.
Nilisikia juzi mkiteta pesa zimetoka sasa.
Zimetoka. Okay. Kwa sababu serikali yenyewe inajua these kids are going back to school. What you are saying, if kama kuna delay mpaka next week, unajua kuna watoto hawataenda shule. What you are saying, all of us, we are in a hurry to put things in place. Now when you deliberately delay things, then you're hurting the ordinary person ambaye amekuweka hapo. Maybe you as a judicial officer or in the executive or judiciary ama legislature kama mimi, labda we have resources to put our kids here and there, but kuna watu hata tukisema nyumba hawana nyumba. Na tukisema tuko na plan ya kuondoa hizi slums, it is a serious thing. Lakini we can play it like an ordinary thing kwa sababu sisi wenyewe tuko na manyumba yetu.
Okay.
Ni vizuri engineer ameweza kusema kwamba ile shida yako nayo na koti ni delays, time delays. Ile shida iko kwa judiciary ni kwamba hizi delays, acha nimueleze vile koti inafanya, kwa sababu yeye ni mhandisi. Koti haijiletei kesi inakuja kwa wananchi. Na vile analaumu mawakili, sio mawakili uleta kesi, mawakili ukuwa hired kutetea kesi ama kupinga kesi, na wako pande zote. Kuna wale wa serikali na kuna wale wenye wanafanya ile kazi ya defense kutoka kule nje. Sasa hizi pande zote mbili zikisikizwa, either moja wapo, na kwa muda mwingi ni serikali ambayo ina delay hizi cases. Unapata pande ya serikali hawana ushahidi ama hawataki kuja kotini, kesi inaendelea ikisongeshwa. So hiyo sio shida ya mahakama, sio shida ya mawakili, ni shida na serikali yenyewe. Kama wangeweza kusolve hiyo inefficiencies zao kutoka kwa pande ya AG, Attorney General's Office, because mimi nimefanya kesi mingi Rashid na upande wa serikali. Hata kuwa na wakili wako kuja kotini na kuwa ni ngumu. Akikuja ana evidence, next time anasema sijui mimi ni mgonjwa, next time anasema. So wanafaa kusolve hiyo shida internally from government side, executive, that's the Attorney General, because hapo pia kuna shida. Hiyo shida ikikuwa solve, utapata hizi, upeleki kesi kotini kwa sababu unataka kudelay government project. Hakuna mtu akona hiyo nje. Hata koti yenyewe ilisema hakuna shida na hii project. Shida iliyopo ni hawajafuata sheria. Wakifuata sheria warudi, wabunge watengeneze hiyo sheria, hata kama ni ile ya nyumba, na imerudi. Rais mwenyewe akaiwelcome, akasema kwamba hii tunakubaliana kwa sababu mmesema kuna mahali kulikuwa na dosari, tunatosa watu ushuru ambao wako na payslip. Sasa tunaweza eneza ikwe kwa kila mtu. Sijui kafika wapi, akasema kumbe nilifanya makosa, akageuka. Sasa iko geuka ndio tuelewe ilimlazimu vipi. But sasa mheshimiwa kidogo. Sasa hiyo ndio shida ya time, na hapo ndio time upotelea. Jambo la pili ni kwamba hatuna enough judges ama magistrates. Zile pesa ambazo zimetengwa pale za kuwa na wale majudges na magistrates hazitoshi. Kesi sio ya serikali peke yake ina delay, ni kesi zote. Isije ikawa kwamba wanaangalia tu pande moja kwamba kesi ya serikali ambayo serikali imeshtakiwa ambayo ina delay. Na serikali imepata judgment mzuri sana kutoka kotini ambazo kidogo pia sisi tunaona ni kama tumekandamizwa, but tunanyamaza. Anawaongea, wanakubali, wanazi welcome, but ikiwepo kuna ile moja ambayo koti imesema kwamba warudi waangalie maneno itengenezwe vizuri waendelee na kazi zao, tunasikia kelele mingi. So tunafaa kukuwa na ukweli, wananchi wajue ukweli kwamba hakuna mtu akona shida na kazi ya serikali. Kila mtu anataka zilamu ziishe, kila mtu anataka kazi iendelee, tunataka kila project iendelee. But ikiwa kuna project amesema kama ni hospitali inajengwa na kuna corruption pale, na mwananchi amesema maybe ni contractor amenyanyaswa, amenyimwa contract na ameenda kotini, si lazima kusikizwe, tujue ukweli uko wapi. Kama kuna mtu alikula hongo, ashtakiwe, angaliwe, process ianze vizuri ndio kazi iendelee. Tusije tukawa tunafunga macho ili corruption iendelee alafu tunalaumu koti. So hii ni maneno ambayo inaitwa checks and balances yenye kidogo tunafaa kuangalia kila pande yote ndio tuweze kuendelea mbele. But sasa kutumia kesi moja na kuanza kusema hii koti yote itasaidia mtu.
Na mtazamaji, unaendelea kutazama runinga ya KBC Channel 1, kipindi Zinga, na upande wa pili kipindi ni Good Morning Kenya, na ndani ya studio niko naye Mheshimiwa Mhandisi Kiragu Chege, mbunge wa Limuru, na vile pia ndani ya studio niko naye wakili wa masuala ya kikatiba na mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa, wakili Gibson Gisore. Mtazamaji, tupigia mbinde, je, idara ya mahakama na serikali kuu zina nafasi ya kuweza kushirikiana? Mtazamaji, ni saa 2:48, sawa na kusema 12 dakika zimesalia timie saa 3 kamili. Mtazamaji, tuna muda mchache tukuweza kulikamilisha swala hili. Nirudi kwako Mheshimiwa engineer. Jana jaji mkuu alisema kama kuna uingiliano wa kisiasa wa idara ya mahakama, na katiba ya mwaka 2010 iliipa idara ya mahakama uhuru wa kufanya kazi kibinafsi. Je, wewe ni mwanasiasa, mnaingilia uhuru wa mahakama? Sema tu kweli mheshimiwa.
Hapana. Sisi tunaamini na nilisema mambo ya constitution yetu, tuna imani na the 3 branches of government, na judiciary ni moja yapo zile branches ambao tungetaka kufanya kazi nao. Na ile ya muhimu na ndio umeona hii press conference na watu wanaongea kila mahali. Tungetaka kuona nchi ambao iko wazi sana, iko na fair kwa upande wote, na sana wakati tuna execute our mandate kama legislature, executive ama judiciary, tunamweka mwananchi wa kawaida katikati. Kwa sababu huyu ndio mtu ambaye ni muhimu sana. Ile maneno ambao unasikia tunaongea mambo ya health, mambo ya manyumba, mambo mengi inahusu hawa ambao tunafikiri sio watu wa maana. Na sisi kama vile najua tulisema sisi ni mahustlers na watu wa bottom up. Ni lazima tukiona kuna mtu anakanyangalia wao chini, ni lazima sisi tunanena, kwa sababu tuko na mpango wa kujengea hawa manyumba, wa kutengeneza mambo ya this health insurance for everybody. Lakini sisi tukiona hiyo vitu inakanyangwa, tunaona nyinyi hamuko kwa ile mpango yetu. Ile tu ningeomba mimi ni judiciary isikilize, na isikilize bila wasiwasi ati wanataka kumalizwa. Hapana. Sisi, we want to support. We are the people who give them even more money, and we have said we are going to support them even more. But we want them to do things openly and, without being, pushed out of the agenda, na wengine ambao wanajificha. Lakini kusema ukweli, this country is a great country. there are very few countries in the world ambao wanaongea vile tunaongea.
Kweli.
Hata America, if you are following the American politics, even their Supreme Court na nini, kuna wale tu unajua fulani na fulani watavoti hivi. Lakini hapa Kenya tunasema hawa tutawaachia. But in some countries, because of the alignment they have. So me, I would like to encourage the judiciary to clean their place. They are free to make their judgment, but they should always consider time, because time is a very limited resource.
Okay.
Na wafikirie sana not to be used by others who do not care about an ordinary person.
Asante. Mheshimiwa hapa amesema kuhusiana na kuharakishwa kwa kesi, lakini na mimi hapa najiuliza mbona ile kesi yule Mackenzie imekaa, lakini tuacha ya Mackenzie na Shakahola. Mda wangu haunami. Malumbano kati ya serikali kuu na idara ya mahakama yanafaa kutatuliwa vipi, huku pia katiba au sheria za Kenya zikifuatwa kikamilifu? Kwa dakika mbili tu.
Kwa dakika mbili ni kwamba hii malumbano ni mambo ambayo kidogo inaleta ile unasema ucheshi ama ujeshi. Kwa sababu Kenya is a very robust economy. Nakubaliana na mheshimiwa kwamba Kenya ni nchi mzuri sana. Ukitembea nchi zingine ama kwingine, ukirudi Kenya ukidhani tuko na shida, unasema wacha nirudi nyumbani. So tunafaa ku protect independence of the judiciary. Na mbona independence of the judiciary? Independence of the judiciary is the only arm of government ambayo ina mdomo wake wa kujiongelea. Wanafaa kufanya through ile judgments. Ukiwa pale Britain walikuwa naitwa through writs. Zile writs zilikuwa zinaheshimiwa mpaka na king. So iwapo na hapo ndio democracy ilianzia. Iwapo tunataka kufuata mkondo huo wa checks and balances, lazima pia kila mtu akuwe ready kukuwa checked. Isiwe kwamba ni judiciary peke yake inaelekezwa lawama. Wale wabunge waheshimiwa, ile shida iliyopo ni kwamba zile sheria wanapitisha sometimes asifuati sheria, na hiyo ndio inafanya ile turudi mahakamani ili ku ensure zimefuata ile sheria iliyopo. Sasa iwapo koti itasema kwamba hizi sheria zikufuatwa vizuri, warudishiwe, watengeneze vizuri, wanasikia ni kama wamelaumiwa, na hiyo sio mzuri, kwa sababu koti iko na hiyo uwezo ama imepewa hiyo nguvu ya kuangalia kwamba constitution inafuatwa to the letter. Kama mheshimiwa ako na shida na ile process ambayo ama ile timing, bado ni parliament inapeana pesa kwa judiciary. Wakipeana pesa enough kwa judiciary, ile budget wanaitisha, hire enough judges, then mtawalaumu. But kama mnawaambia pesa ni kidogo, tumieni hiyo kidogo, pia nao wanajaribu kumanage na ile wakati ambayo wamepewa. So ile kitu tunatarajia kwamba rule of law, constitution is supreme, is the bible ya kuguide the process. Na iwapo constitution imekuwa violated na ni mwananchi anaona kwamba imekuwa violated, anaenda kotini, because hiyo ndio kitengo imepewa hiyo uwezo. Tusianze kuielekezea lawama, tuanze kuipokonya nguvu, tuanze kuipokonya pesa na kuanza kuilaumu. Kuna ile msemo wanasema kwamba if you want to kill a dog, you first give it a bad name. Sasa wanasiasa na executive hiyo ndio wanajaribu kufanya. Wanaensure kwamba hii koti imepewa jina mbaya kabisa hata kwa wananchi, bila kufuata zile processes ili wananchi wakose imani, ili waweze kuimaliza kabisa.
Naam, mheshimiwa engineer, labda tukimalizia, naambiwa muda wetu haunasi. Bunge ni muhimu, serikali kuu ni muhimu, na vile pia mahakama ni muhimu. Vitengo hivi vitatu vitashirikiana vipi kwa ajili ya huyu Wanjiku?
Maombi yangu ni sisi tu focus na Wanjiku. Na kama tuna focus na Wanjiku, the three arms of government for sure will work together, because we have a common interest. Ile tunasema ni lazima na sisi tupeane space. Kama bunge for example, si tunaunda sheria, alafu unaona wakati mwingine tunaletewa injunction ati tusiongee hii. Sasa we are an independent arm. Kwa hivyo sasa unaona sasa hata si tunaingiliwa ati tusifanye hivi, tusifanye hivi. Executive msifanye. All what you are saying, let's keep Wanjiku as the most important element in all this. And if we focus on Wanjiku, we can all work together. All what we are saying, and we have said it before, we have provided resources in the judiciary. They are independent, but they should also focus on Wajiko's interests. Wao hawarudishwi kama vile sisi tunarudishwa after 5 years kuuliza Wajiko kama tutaendelea ama tuendelei. Yeah? They are there. Yeah? And for them, they should also be focusing on Wajiko whether we are there or not. Lakini wao kwa sababu wako na 10 of offices, hawajali. Sisi tunajali kwa sababu in a few years situko kwa Wajiko tena. Wao hawataenda kwa Wajiko. Kwa hivyo tungewauliza wa focus on Wajiko. Wakifocus on Wajiko, because Wajiko is the most important element in all this. We can work together. But if, for example, they have no focus on Wajiko, then these kind of discussions will continue because Wajiko will be suffering.
Na mtazamaji, nimesikia mambo mazuri tu hapa. Nina dakika moja. Sijui nikupe sekunde mbili umalizie sekunde mbili.
Sasa nimalizie kwamba ile shida iliyopo na waheshimiwa ni kwamba wao wanajaribu kusema kwamba wao ndio spokesman wa wananchi. Na hajui kwamba koti pia ni spokesman ya mwananchi kwa kutetea ile rule of law. Na ni mwananchi anaenda kotini. So kama ameona amekandamizwa na mwananchi anaenda kwa koti. Sasa wanasikia vibaya watu wakienda kotini kwa sababu ile spokesmanship yao ni kama imewekwa dosari.
Ndio.
Na wasikuwe na wasiwasi. Hizo ndio checks. Those are the checks. Wakuwe comfortable tuweze kusengesha Kenya yetu mbele.
Asante. Mheshimiwa kwa sekunde.
Mimi nataka kushukuru nyinyi hapa KBC kwa sababu nimeona kuna maendeleo. Nataka kuchukua nafasi hii kutuma salamu za mwaka mpya kwa wasikilizaji wa Radio Taifa na KBC na sana kwa watu marafiki wangu wa Limuru ambao wanipatia nafasi ya kuwaongoza na kuwaambia tuko pamoja. Ile mambo ambayo tunafanya mashule, kufungua, renovations, kutengeneza mabarabara tutaendelea na wawe na hope na imani 2024 will be a better year.
Naam, barabara kabisa. Mheshimiwa Engineer Chege anasema mwaka wa 2024 utakuwa mwaka wa matunda na sio mwaka wa El Nino. Je, mtazamaji, baadaye kutakuwa na suluhu kati ya serikali kuu chini ya amiri jeshi mkuu wa vikosi vyote vya ulinzi Rais Daktari William Ruto na mahakama chini ya Jaji Martha Koome. Asante vile vile pia wakili mchanganuzi Gibson Gisore. Kuna rafiki yangu mmoja hapa ananiambia, Rashid, Gisore mlipoanza naye alikuwa anatambaa, lakini sasa siku hizi anachanganua na amechangamka vizuri. Unaona KBC imekulewa. Ndio basi, kwa niaba ya wote ambao wamefanikisha kipindi hiki, wapiga picha wangu hapa ndani ya studio, waelekezi, mafundi wa mitambo upande wa runinga na upande wa radio, niseme shukran sana. Alafu leo hii kuna mzalishaji mpya anaitwa Nancy Kiamunto. Asante kwa kazi nzuri, bila kumsahau mkuu wa kitengo Martin Kingasia, na asante sana vile vile ndugu yangu Geoffrey Onditi, uko likizo lakini unatusaidia. Kwa niaba ya nyote mlioshirikisha, itifaki zote zimezingatiwa. Mimi naitwa Rashid Momkondo. Kwaherini.
These are the moments we live for every Friday as we catch up with the world of football.
Manchester City go in front.
With your favorite stars like no other, that keeps you on the edge of your seat as you learn a few tricks that keeps you ahead of the game before we spice it all with unforgettable moments on Dunda Dunda. Then on Saturday, you are in for another treat as we rock your weekend with other sports, bringing you insights on what's happening behind the scenes as we share the stories.
Charging to the line. Is it going to be a world record? Yes, it is. She smashed it.
Whatever angle you look at, we've got you covered. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Economic times. And so if you came here imagining that the ministry has called you with a begging bowl to beg for alms, get it out of your mind right now. We ask you here to come and gather together to celebrate as kin, because we have so many reasons to celebrate. Today is a day we wanted to say, number one, to say thank you. We wanted to say thank you to our own team, the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. We wanted to say thank you to our team. Our team has worked incredibly hard in the last 1 year. We came in as a new administration headed by His Excellency William Ruto. We came in on a wave of transformation, riding an incredible agenda for this country, which we call the plan, the manifesto that brought our administration into office. We quickly took time to transform that plan into a policy framework. It is called Bottom-Up Economic Transformation Agenda. It is a framework whose vision, whose imagination is to change Kenya, to transform the fortunes of our land bottom up, bringing into the fold the largest segment of our population that has always felt left out of the socio-economic circuit. When you look at the better, what we call the better agenda, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, there are 5 pillars. Pillar number 5 is where we exist as a ministry and a sector. A pillar that recognizes the power of sports and creatives to transform and to help to revive the economic fortunes of our land. And today I pay special tribute to the team at the ministry that inherited a sector that was in a total mess. We inherited football that was in limbo, suspended by the International Football Federation, FIFA. We inherited rugby that was in a free fall, ultimately culminating in Kenya falling out of the HBC World Series. We inherited swimming federation that had been in limbo of a ban by World Aquatics for close to 7 years. In short, we inherited a scene that was in a total mess. In fact, Kenya's premier sporting discipline, athletics, the one event, the one discipline that has perhaps helped to brand this country globally more than any other, was on the verge of being banned by World Athletics because of the crisis of doping. And if it were not for emergency intervention in November 2022, intervention that included His Excellency President William Ruto himself engaging directly with the President of World Athletics, Lord Sebastian Coe, who we even invited to Kenya as part of that intervention, Kenyan athletics would be in limbo today because of doping. Good people, that is the situation this ministry inherited, and many, many other challenges. I could go on and on in terms of the kind of scenario we inherited. And this team at the ministry has performed what I consider to be a miracle, to turn around that scenario to the scenario we have today, where our sporting trajectory is rising at a level never witnessed before. We have turned around that ship completely. Our football is back after engaging FIFA. I traveled to meet Mr. Gianni Infantino, myself, the president of FIFA, and our football is back. In the last holidays, in December, the most defining feature of our December holiday was football here, football there. Huku kule hapa pale, everybody was playing football. Super Cup here, Super Cup there. Everybody was Super Cupping all over the place. And I sat back and said, wow, Kenyan football truly is back. Our rugby is back. Our Shujaa team has just won the Dubai leg of the HSBC Challenger Series last Sunday. That same team are the African champions. They won the African Championship last year to qualify directly for the Paris Olympics and will be representing Africa in Paris in the summer at the Olympics. We have waged a total all-out war on doping, committing $5 million per year for the next 5 years in an unprecedented war against doping. And our language today, tomorrow, and forever, zero tolerance to doping. And we are confronting doping in a systematic, deliberate, intentional, structured manner like Kenya has ever done before. World Aquatics last year, again after engagement, lifted the ban on our Kenya Aquatics, and our swimmers are back swimming. Overall, we have managed to turn the ship around. And for that, good people, give the staff of this ministry a round of applause. In that period of transformation, we have also taken time to send a clear message that we cannot travel this journey alone. In fact, the transformation I talk about, yes, has been the result of incredible work internally by the team in this ministry. But to a very large measure, we pay tribute to our partners, the partners who have worked with us every step of the way, who have been champions, who have believed in our agenda for transformation. And so our second vision today was to say shukran, asanteni sana to our partners. We thank you. And in the last year, we have had some incredible partnerships. We have had international partnerships which we have been able to put together. We have celebrated a year when Kenya signed a deal with the NBA, the National Basketball Association of the US, to grow the game of basketball here. We have celebrated a year when we have signed a deal with the Grammys, the International Academy of the Arts in the US, to grow music and the arts here. We have signed a deal with Invention Studios in LA, in Hollywood, under which this year alone, Invention Studios will be shooting 15 premiere movies in the Kenyan ecosystem. We have signed bilateral agreements with China, with France, with South Africa, with Mozambique, with Angola, many countries around, co-production agreements, agreements in sports. Last year, our boxers, under such an agreement, traveled to train in Cuba as part of a partnership between the government of Kenya and the government of Cuba to grow the game of boxing. I want to applaud those partnerships at that level. Here at home, I want to applaud corporates that have plugged into our mission of transformation. Listening to the introductions, I could pick out those of you who have been immense as we have struggled to turn around this ship. I want to thank the Kenya Commercial Bank in a very special way. KCB has been supportive of a lot of our work. When the Safari Rally was in limbo, in the wilderness, outside the World Rally Championship Series, the Kenya Commercial Bank held the rally, supported the rally in that entire period of the wilderness. And when the rally came back to the World Rally Championship, KCB was available again. And even for the rally of last year, KCB ranked as the top corporate partner with government in delivering the rally of 2023. The KCB also continues to support football, to support golf, to support basketball, to support many other sporting activities. I want to applaud our banks, other banks, NCBA, Absa Bank, banks that have stepped to the table to also partner with us in supporting other sporting disciplines. Asante sana, today we say thank you. I want to thank our media fraternity, starting with the national broadcaster, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC. KBC, you've been a real patriot. A real patriot. As a national broadcaster, you have come forth, you have supported our programs, you have been a real partner for the Talanta Hela initiative. You have broadcast live programs that were key in our agenda to transform this scene. For the first time in the history of this country, the National School Ball Games in Kakamega County featured on live TV. And our youngsters, some of whom are really exciting you today, like Andrew Kibet, Amos Wanjala, Alvin Kasabuli, they featured live and were seen by Kenyans on live TV, thanks to the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Other partners, the Nation Media Group, the Royal Media Services, Capital FM, People Daily, all of you who have been so key in plugging into our agenda and helping us run this agenda forward. This is an opportunity for us to say, Asante sana, we do not take your support for granted. And so this morning, we wanted to thank the investment you have made in the transformation that we have witnessed. We also wanted to acknowledge the work of one critical partner that we cannot deliver our agenda without: the sporting federations and organizations. You are our natural partner. We work with you and through you. The policies, the legislation, the measures we put in place are rolled out through you. You're actually the front line forces to deliver the agenda we set. And so all of you federations, starting with the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, which really is the umbrella that brings together all associations, especially those that are of an Olympics nature, we want to thank you. We want to thank Athletics Kenya. We want to thank this WRC Safari Rally project. We want to thank our team that manages golf, that continues to demystify the wrong notion that golf is elitist. And indeed, since I came to office, I have seen a very deliberate agenda by golf to take golf to the people and to showcase golf really as a sport that is a hustler sport, but people can actually play golf. I want to thank our team, the Trans Rugby. We are working with you incredibly hard to take Kenyan rugby back to the global high table. I want to thank our team, the Trans Tennis. Our tennis is inching back, and we are all celebrating young talents like Angela Okutoi and the rest of the team. And I have attended countless games, tournaments of tennis, and I can say that with that momentum, our tennis will definitely get back to where it belongs. I want to thank our people who are running hockey, a game where Kenya used to be immense. We lost the path, but I am seeing effort to return our hockey back to the high table. Our team running cricket, we have a blueprint to return Kenyan cricket to the international arena. And I want to thank this morning the government of India, with whom we are developing a special master plan to revitalize our game of cricket. So overall, good people, as our partners, Kenyan sports is in a good space. It would be remiss of me if I did not recognize those of you partners who not only support our regular programs, but you are also normally on hand to come through for us at a very short notice. And in this regard, I want to thank partners like Visa. I want to thank in a very special way Safaricom. Safaricom has not only been a key corporate partner for us, but Safaricom has always been ready to come through for us on short notice. Last December, we hosted the largest youth event in the whole world, the Youth Connect Africa Summit, that brought to Nairobi 20,000 young people from across Africa and the rest of the world. Safaricom came through for us in very significant ways. And today, our friends, our partners, Safaricom, tunasema asanteni sana. So that is where we are. We wanted to applaud everybody who has been part of this journey and to tell you that building on that positive momentum, we are ready to go again this year. And this year, we want it to be bigger, better, and greater fun. And so, besides thanking you, let me conclude by also asking you now to fully plug into our agenda for this year. You can see that we have spent our last year well to turn around a very difficult situation. This year is a year to not only shoot for the moon, but to actually seek to own the entire orbit. We have some incredible events lined up this year. We have just had an incredible start to the year with our rugby teams doing very well in the Dubai leg of the HSBC Challenger Series. Agnes Ngitich smashing the world record in the 10-kilometer road race in Valencia. So we have a new world record holder in town. Let us give it up to Agnes Ngitich. Now we are getting into golf. We are looking forward to coming to Vipingo for the LET, for the ladies European tour. And soon thereafter, we'll be getting into the magical Kenya. A month down the line, we are right into the incredible, the adrenaline tingling, the best, biggest, swankiest, hardest, all the ESTs. You can give it all the ESTs. The WRC Safari Rally. And we are delighted that the Safari Rally is back to its traditional Easter weekend this year. So we are expecting incredible numbers. For those of you corporates whose only interest is eyeballs, this year, with the timing of the rally returning to the Easter weekend, the eyeballs will be beyond your imagination. So even the value of what we are offering you just went up several notches higher because of shifting the date of the Safari Rally from June to the Easter weekend. After the Easter weekend and the Safari Rally, we shoot for the big one, the Paris Olympics, where this year Kenya will be presenting our biggest squad or our biggest national team ever. We are not only going to Paris with our incredible world beaters in athletics. Our rugby sevens, the Shujas, have qualified for the Olympics. Our women volleyball team, Malkia Strikers, have qualified for the Olympics. Our women rugby team, the Lionesses, still have a chance to qualify for the Olympics when they go again in May. We expect many other disciplines to join, and we are preparing an incredible Team Kenya for the Paris Olympics with just about 180 days to go. And I want to thank the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, led by this ageless, timeless legend, Paul Target. Let us give it up to Paul. Paul is leading the Olympics team incredibly well. Paul, together with your team, we thank you, we appreciate you. And we are very happy that for the first time ever, the preparations for these Olympics have been done in an incredibly organized manner. We started off way before we started the 1 year countdown. We then marked the 1 year countdown in a ceremony where we started counting down from 365 and a half days. And we've been marking off. Every day we mark off. So I want to assure the people of Kenya that for this year, Kenya will be incredibly well prepared for the Olympics. We are very proud of our Olympics heritage as a country. Africa's first ever Olympics medal is a Kenyan. The late Wilson Kiprugut Arap Chumo. We buried him about 16 months ago. And to honor him, we have changed the name of Kericho Green Stadium to Kiprugut Chumo Memorial Stadium in Kericho, in his memory. That is Africa's first ever medal from the Olympics. Africa's first ever gold medal is Kenya. The timeless, ageless Kipchoge Keino. Africa's first ever boxing gold medal is Kenya. The late Robert Wangila Napoli. Kenya has so many firsts, and the largest haul of medals by any African country in Olympics history is Kenya. And so this is a country with a very proud Olympics heritage. It's a heritage we are proud of and we want to defend strongly in Paris this year. That will be the next big one. And we are asking you corporates, what are you looking for if you don't want to plug into that heritage? I mean, whatever else you're plugging into, if you're not plugging into that incredible heritage, your marketing strategy must be something else. And so, this year, besides the Olympics, we have a few other events which I want to invite you to take a keen interest in. As I said, our football is back. And while all this is going on, there are a number of important football events that will be happening. Starting in March. You know that last year we launched our flagship project we call Talanta Hela. And the jewel in the crown of that Talanta Hela initiative was our under-19 inter-county football tournament that culminated in the selection of 3 national teams, 6 actually, for boys and girls. 3 boys teams and 3 girls teams. Under 15, under 17, under 20. For the first time this year, Kenya will be entering youth teams in World Cup qualifiers. So we'll have an under 17 World Cup team for Kenya. We'll have an under 20 World Cup team for this country. If you don't build it young, the Swahili have a beautiful saying, samaki mkunji angali mbichi. You have to do it at the youngest age possible. And we have realized that our West African counterparts, our North African counterparts, they don't have anything special compared to us in football. They just do it better. And we have borrowed the rule book. And one of the things we borrowed is to start investing heavily in our youth development programs. So we have selected those 3 teams for boys and girls, 6 teams in total. And we'll be starting preparations by taking these teams to the Mediterranean International Championship in Spain in March, where all our teams, under 15, under 17, under 20, will be participating against the rest of the world as part of preparing them to participate in the World Cup qualifiers. So again, those of you who are very keen on youth development, we have those 6 teams, under 15, under 17, under 20, boys and girls. You can pick any that ticks your boxes and we can discuss partnership. Still in the same football arena, Harambee Stars will be continuing participation in the World Cup qualifiers. We'll also be starting qualifiers for the Africa Cup of Nations 2025. Our women teams, the Harambee Starlets and Rising Starlets, will also be participating in various activities, and we invite you to take an interest in what will be going on in that respect. And then finally, we'll be investing very heavily in academies. We'll be very deliberate around that whole space of academies. Our Kenya Academy of Sports is the anchor institution for our Talanta Hela initiative. And that whole space of youth development. We'll be having a very robust program on basketball together with the NBA. And I want to thank the NBA who have constructed 2 elite basketball courts at our Academy of Sports in Kasarani as part of this partnership. And so we'll be having a very strong program around basketball. This year we'll be rolling out our rallying school. Our rallying school, you will recall that as the president launched Talanta Hela, he also announced plans to launch a rally school to develop our rallying talents. That program will be starting officially this year. We'll continue to work closely with the golf team to develop your youngsters. It's a space which we are very keen on, and many other spaces. So good people, we thank you once again for the partnership we have enjoyed. We assure you that this ministry is on the right trajectory. We assure you that government is very keen on investing heavily in sports, and we want you to be partners with us as we walk this journey. Of course, I cannot conclude without inviting you to join us as we start our official walk towards AFCON 2027, which Kenya will be co-hosting together with Uganda and Tanzania. I know there have been some concerns in some quarters regarding infrastructure for AFCON 2027. Excuse me. I want to dispel those concerns and to assure the country that our infrastructure development agenda for AFCON 2027 is on track, perfectly on track. We believe that we'll be ready on time and we'll be able to host an incredible Africa Cup of Nations in 2027. We are watching what is going on in Abidjan closely, and we are confident will be able to put on something of incredibly high quality in 2027. And again, that space is now officially open for partnerships. We are welcoming corporates and other partners to join us in preparing for AFCON 2027. So asanteni sana, tuendelee kutembea pamoja. Media, this is a media event, and KBC, thank you for giving us a live feed for this event. Please join us in projecting this positive energy to the public. Good things are happening. Join us in informing Kenyans on the good things that are happening. Negative energy does not build a country. Even in criticism, let the criticism be constructive criticism. We were rather disappointed in the run-up to the bid for AFCON 2027. There was incredibly negative energy emanating out of Nairobi around the bid for AFCON. We invite you now to board this ship of positive energy and mobilize Kenyans around the agenda of using sports to contribute to our national development and our economic transformation. So media, we want to work with you every step of the way. The Sports Journalists Association, I can see your president is here. Where is the president? Yes, Bwana Waindi. I want to thank you on behalf of your association and the sports journalists. You have become a really reliable partner for the ministry. Where you need to constructively criticize, you have done so. Where you need to support our programs, you have done so. And we thank you. And we assure you that the ministry will continue to work with yourself and your association to deliver on our agenda. Asanteni sana. Na sasa leo, as we talk here, we invite you to choose which space you want to support. And in supporting whichever space, we are not asking you to write checks to the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. No. Don't give us money. Just pick a space you find in sync with your agenda and support it. If you think you can support our Team Kenya to Paris, we will want you to sit down with our peers and the President, Paul Target, and curate an arrangement that can enable you to be part of the journey to Paris 2024. If you think or you believe you want to be part of the WRC Safari Rally, we'll do the same. We have a very good team that we have put together to deliver the rally. We will link you to the rally project and you can deliver support directly to the rally project. If you want to support golf, we'll do the same. So the support we seek from you is not support ya kubeba kikapu kuomba sisi wale watu wa omba. We are actually asking you to become partners. Partners in a space where we believe the benefits will come directly to you as a partner. And for us as a ministry and as a government, the benefits will percolate all the way to the bottom of the pyramid in the spirit of Talanta Hela Pesa Mfukoni, because we want to put money in the pockets of sportsmen and women. And every shilling you put in this space, I can assure you, it goes directly into the pockets of sportsmen and women. I just mentioned Agnes Ngetich, who has just broken a world record. Next week, this ministry will be handing Agnes a 5 million Kenya shilling check for her world record. And good people, that is the standard the ministry has set. We announce that every world record you break, besides anything else, we welcome you home with a 5 million shilling check. Na hiyo si pesa yenu corporates. Hiyo ni sisi tumejipanga. Tumejipanga. And all of them Faith Kipyegon, Kevin Kiptum, and now Agnes Ngetich. Each one of them who has broken a world record has received their 5 million shilling reward. Anybody winning a gold medal for this country receives the 3 million shilling reward for winning a gold medal. Everybody winning a silver medal is getting their 2 million shillings. Everybody winning a bronze medal is getting their 1 million shillings. That is part of our revised reward scheme. In that reward scheme, no corporate puts in money. Sisi tumejipanga tu kama serikali. Hii ni serikali ambayo imejipanga. Okay? And we are telling you, government is already leading the way in pesa mfukoni. Pesa mfukoni. Honestly, with that level of support from government, you corporates would still be reluctant to come on board and do the same. Come on board and do the same. Come on board and support Olympics, support golf, support the rally, support our football team, support everything else that is happening in this space. And as I have already said, the value proposition for you is absolutely immense. Tunawashukuru sana, and we are ready to walk with you all the way to the top. As they say in Africa, you want to go fast, you walk alone. You want to go far, you walk with others. We want to go far together with you. Asanteni sana. Thank you. And so, are we doing a harambe now? PS, can I now call a harambe? Now, let me now ask this essay to guide us to the next segment, because I'm sure there are people who came here. Some of the CEOs did not come here because they believed we are going to call a harambe at the end of this. Tell your CEOs, those who are not here, tell them no. These guys are not interested in harambes. These guys are only interested in partnership. Partnership that takes advantage of the premium brand that Kenyan sports is. Kenyan sports has a higher value than tea, higher value than coffee, higher value than tourism. Kenyan sport is actually Kenya's premium export to the world. And we are telling you, become partners in branding this beautiful heritage and showcasing it to the world. Asanteni sana.
A round of applause for Waziri. Makofi for Waziri. Thank you, Waziri. We can now continue with the presentation. 10 minutes each.
Is that the right one? Oh, there we go. Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor to be following you. Thank you very much for the platform, and it's a great pleasure.
This is Nayanaingikalayo village, a remote part in Turkana County which is about 600 miles from the capital city of Kenya. Blessed with vast open lands, this place, which is historically known to be the cradle of mankind, has magnificent, breathtaking sceneries. Sadly, the thrill of the aerial spectacular views fades off quickly as one drives through this small town. Looking around, one is left wondering how the residents living in this semi-arid area survive given there aren't any special amenities nearby and most importantly health facilities. After several miles of driving through the village, we finally come across this dispensary, the only facility around. Seeking medical attention here can be a nightmare to most people, and more especially those who reside in the far interior parts of this neighborhood. There is barely any means of transport that can be used for mobility in case of an emergency, and a motorbike can only be spotted once or twice after every 2 hours. That is probably the reason why there were only a handful of patients at the health center at the time of our arrival. Amidst all of these challenges, Sabina, a community health promoter, has defied all odds to bridge the gap and ensure that universal health coverage becomes a reality to the people living in her community. Her reason for being a community health promoter in her community is quite moving and inspiring.
Niko na miaka 5 sahi nimefanya hii kazi. Sasa nilikia tu kwa hiyo kazi kwa sababu roho yangu hapendi kuangalia mtu napata shida na mimi naangalia na macho iwezi saidia. Sasa afadhali nisaidie mtu ndio hata Mungu yenyewe aniangalia mimi nafanya kazi yake. Mtu ikikonjeka napeleka huko hospitali. Napata dawa naandikia rifaro ndio naenda hospitali. Nikipata mtoto yenye hajakunya chanjo nitapeleka.
As a family woman, she has to juggle between parenting and serving the community.
Naolea mimi ndio hii peti yangu nimepaa. Tunachukua na mzee yangu ndoa. Ndio tunakaa hapa nyumbani. Namkanga asubuhi. Kiamka asubuhi naosha watoto endeni kwa shule. Ninaingia kwa kazi ya mbuzi. Napeana watoto yao. Napunga naenda kwa mlima. Mishoya anakuja kupigia watoto chai yenye anabaki nyumbani na mzee. Napigia mzee chai. Napelekea. Kirudi huko mimi naoga nikaenda kazi yangu.
In her community, Sabina is considered to be a health champion and nothing can stop her from offering services to her community. Today, she's on a mission and undoubtedly, she will have to endure the scorching sun, walking a long distance in order to fulfill the day's responsibilities as a community health promoter. She's visiting Bendetta, an expectant mother who's in her second trimester of her pregnancy and needs to undergo a routine prenatal checkup. For Bendetta, this is going to be her third delivery, and she's happy that this Sabina who helped her deliver her first 2 babies successfully is still the one looking after her.
I currently have 2 children and I am expecting the third. She has been my midwife and she took me to the hospital on a motorbike where I delivered my first and second born. After delivery, she took me back home. She is my doctor.
Simon Lotor is Bendetta's husband. He has high regards for Sabina as she has been of great help to his wife and the entire community.
Sasa nashukuru kama daktari wetu ya hii kijiji na bei. Hata amesaidia bibi yangu mali alikuwa anasikia. Bibi yangu alikuwa anasikia tumbo anauma na anasikia mgongo na anasikia mguu anauma. Sasa vile hii madaktari sasa hivi vile ameingia, mimi naona amesaidia bibi yangu. Huwa anatembelea 24 hours, mchana ama usiku. Sasa naona sasa hii kumbe serikali ya Kenya hii kumbe anafanya kazi.
Having been born and bred in this neighborhood, Rosaline equally appreciates the good work done by the community health promoter.
Amefanya kazi mzuri, anabeba wamama wale wajawazito, anapeleka hospitali, wanazaa, anarudisha, anapeleka wagonjwa, anatibia, anatembea usiku na mchana. Hata mimi nasimama vile ninasimama hivi, nikapata shida, akanipeleka hospitali, akanitumisa, akanirudisha. Sasa ninaambia Mungu adili na Sabina Nasuru, aendelee afanye hiyo kazi mpaka siku la mwisho.
According to Robert Eragai, a community health assistant at Nayanang Galalayu Dispensary, working with Sabina has been an inspiration to him and the rest of the community.
Sabina is doing a good job at the community. He's inspiring people, he's encouraging people in the community. That is why the promoters are being employed in the community.
Robert further notes that the work done by community health promoters has positively impacted on their service delivery through the provision of direct linkage between their facility and the community. This is essentially leaving no one behind in the realization of the universal health coverage.
There is a UHC, which means the universal health coverage, whereby there is care reaching the community through the community health promoters. That is why the government needs everybody so that they can lower the mortality rate and mobility rate in the community.
Hao wametusaidia sana kwa majukumu ambayo inatatiza sisi kwa upande health. So kwa ule mtu ambaye hajaifika ama yule mtoto ambaye hajaipata chanjo, ni rahisi sasa wao kutrace na kutuletea hapa kwa hospitali hapa na kupata chanjo. Na pia na hii majanga hii magonjwa hii pia vimedidimia juu sasa wao ndio tegemeo. Sasa bila wao sisi hakuna kazi tunaweza fanya.
Amidst all of this accolade, her work doesn't lack challenges.
Natembea usiku, natembea mchana, jua ni kali, na hata mimi yenyewe iko na njaa. Sasa mimi nakimbia tu, anasema daktari unisaidie. Sasa mimi nitasaidia namna gani kama sina kitu ya kusaidia? Mtoe kitu nye mimi nabebanga watu, kama watoto nibebe, kama wamama nibebe. Wapi fikia watu? Wanasema leta pesa, mimi nitatoa pesa wapi?
For Sabina, offering service to humanity gives her satisfaction and joy. This is why she keeps working as a community health promoter day in, day out. It's ultimately through such selfless acts done by selfless people that the world can be a better place.